This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana makes car selling fast and easy from start to finish. Enter your license plate or VIN and get a real offer in seconds, down to the penny. If you accept, Carvana will come pick up your car from your driveway. Or you can drop it off at one of our car vending machines. Either way, you get paid instantly. It's fast, transparent, and 100% online. Car selling that saves your time. That's Carvana.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Tab 5.
That's a great one.
That's
Splash Brothers is another great one for groups.
Team nicknames.
Why don't we have a nickname?
Jamma.
That's
that was
the
best ever.
But why
That's
don't Gianna?
Absolutely.
We should get a nickname for us, the three of us.
Chris and the guys.
Cruise Crew.
The Brew Crew. The Brew Crew.
Yeah, I like that.
Brew is legit hilarious.
Chris and the guys.
Chris and Company.
Brew is so funny, man.
First hour. That's why we're his guys.
I know. We're just for the ensemble.
Today, Steelers, Bengals tonight. At what point are we going to be ready to start talking about the Steelers?
Wow.
Going to the Super Bowl. The stat that you need to see. Making stats cool again.
You can't steal that from Danny. You made fun of him for it.
You killed me.
He made stats cool, and now people are copying. Meanwhile, two guests on the show today. NFL legend Larry Fitzgerald talks all things NFL and wide receivers, and the Pasquatch is back with us, who perfectly predicted last night's game.
And won me some money.
Did he really? Did you make that bet?
Yeah, I saw the thing. The roof was open. I bet the Blue Jays.
That's a great
That roof, there was magic in that roof.
Yeah.
And finally, it's the most motivational segment in all of sports. It's the Bud List.
Ooh.
Is your guy, and my guy, Ohtani, Jalen Hurts, what a Bud List we have.
Well, it was 3-0 last week as far as motivation. All three played excellent games.
That's true.
Gino wasn't excellent, but he was
But
better.
one and was
He
better. Yeah.
Right.
So,
That's right. Nick Wright, Kevin Wildes,
Big
Chris
week.
Broussard, a.k.a. Chris and Company. We're starting with Aaron Rodgers. Got his team to 4 wins up against a Bengals defense tonight that is giving up 30 points a game. Pittsburgh favored by almost 6. Here's Aaron. Take a listen.
I'm kind of going like this body-wise. I'm just getting healthier. I had a great break on the bye week, spending time with my body work guru guy out west, and felt good coming back. I'm going to have to get with him a few more times this season. But I'm feeling like, first couple weeks, I was a little tighter, I felt like, and I'm starting to loosen up and feel a little bit more like myself.
Okay, so get this. If they win tonight, Mike Tomlin and the Steelers will be 5-1. Under Tomlin, starting 5-1 or better. 2008, they were 12-4, won the Super Bowl. 2010, 12-4, lost the Super Bowl. 2020, 12-4, lost the wild card round. I thought this was very instructive. Basically, tonight, if they win, they've got a 66% chance of going to the Super Bowl. There's no other way to read it. There's no other way to read it. They're going to the Super Bowl. Tonight's like the AFC Championship game.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, do you think they're going to the Super Bowl?
No, I don't. And even with a win, I won't look at them as legit contenders. And the more I dug into the Steelers for this topic, and I hate this, the better I felt about Bruce Ravens still being alive. I'm just telling you the truth. Bro, why are you so, see, this is why
They are very much alive, because I felt I always felt they were alive, but you're right.
But
when you look deep, they are very
Because here's
much
the
alive.
thing. It's multifaceted. First of all, I do not care about that graphic at all. I apologize.
Okay, well,
Here's
we're in the Super Bowl. Different story.
Because what that shows me is, when they had prime Big Ben, and they started out well, they were awesome. And then in 2020, when they started out, I think 10-0, maybe 11-0 with washed
and we all
Big Ben.
knew they were still not that great.
We didn't believe in them for sure. They end up getting annihilate. That was the year. That was Baker's playoff win, if I remember correctly. That was the year the Browns went to Pittsburgh and won the game.
Was that without Stefanski too?
It had to be because COVID, because that was COVID year. But the Steelers, a couple reasons. First one is this. If we put up the Steelers' ranks, they're making their money on defense purely with the splash plays. And I don't think that is super sustainable. I think that TJ Watt's going to get sacks and they're going to force some turnovers. But being that bad in yards and being that average in points per game despite being where they are in takeaway and sacks is concerning to me. On offense, it's the opposite. Now, that should be a little more sustainable because preventing what they're doing is taking care of the football, and after Rodgers got sacked a bunch the first 2 weeks, stopped getting sacked, so that might be slightly more sustainable. But the way Rodgers is making his money up to this point this year, Brew, is getting the ball out immediately, and I just think that's disruptible by good defenses. I think that if you are willing to risk getting beat over the top if he has time to hold on to the ball, you can disrupt the timing on this like we saw essentially different players, different versions, teams do to Miami.
Yes.
You know, which is we're just not going to let that instantaneous passing game beat us. And the Steelers don't have Tyreek Hill. They don't have Jalen Waddle. DK Metcalf's a really good player. And I think that this can be exploited. And so I just don't think they are as good as their record says they are, and I don't think it will be sustained over the course of the season.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I'm sure you may have looked at this. Their schedule. Now, if they're 10-1 going through their schedule, then you'll start to believe. But look, after this one, and yesterday I said, this is like they need to win this game because it's getting rough after this. You've got Green Bay, Indianapolis, and the Chargers. But then look at the last column. Buffalo, you still got Baltimore twice. Buffalo, Detroit. Like, they could end up losing a lot of games if they're really not that good. So they do need to stack these wins. But I think they're going to lose a lot of these games, and then we won't be thinking of them as a contender at all. The other thing, Nick, and this is a credit to Rodgers so far, they don't have a run game. They're averaging like 3 yards a carry, one of the worst run games. Even I like Jaylen Warren, but they haven't been able to get their run game going. And you guys know how I feel about Rodgers in the postseason. Like, he is a legitimately all-time great quarterback, and I'm actually glad he's getting off to this start where he's playing well and they're winning games. But I've already said, since they won that Super Bowl, 14 years ago, this is how he's played in the conference championship games. 9 TDs, 8 interceptions. That's telling because his claim to fame is he doesn't throw picks. But why in these huge games does he throw a lot of interceptions?
But if they get to that spot, Brew, they'll be thrilled.
Huge, man.
If they get to the conference championship game, it's an amazing accomplishment.
If they absolutely. I think if they make the playoffs and maybe win a game, then Rodgers will be able to go out in a blaze of glory if he chooses to retire. But I just think that's the cap on that for them. But look, Kansas City's better. Buffalo's better. I think Baltimore's better. And they'll have their chance to prove it, obviously. But I don't think they're a legit contender in AFC.
Classic 2 by me, I would say.
What was that?
That the Achilles is a 2-year injury. Now, did I believe in the Steelers? Not necessarily. Did I believe in Aaron Rodgers? No, but I had a small carve-out where I can lay claim to a classic 2, where, maybe Aaron Rodgers is actually back. He hasn't looked washed. I think washed was on the board.
That's fair.
This guy doesn't look like he belongs on an NFL field. No. Physically or mentally, he's just kind of out of it. We thought there was going to be real tumult with the offense, that if it goes one way and Rodgers wants it this way, they want it that way. After he got sacked, let's just get rid of the ball. Unfortunately, or fortunately, he's got the lowest average intended air yard. So it's all just small.
It's just
stuff.
quick, immediate.
Yeah.
And
DK has been great after the catch.
But this is what it was from last year with the Jets to this year with the Steelers. I got to give him credit. Completion percentage is up. The yards are down, but the wins are up, so that's good. 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and the passer rating is up. So, look, if he wins tonight, he'll equal last year's total.
What is interesting to me about that is the touchdown interception ratio is not that different. Because you multiply it by 3, it'd be 30 to 9, and it was 28 to 11. It's a little bit better. And the yards per game are down. So I'm not certain that I agree with you wholeheartedly that he is playing much better than last year. I do think this is another year where his numbers are maybe a little better than his play actually has been. But I think to go circle back something what you were saying, Brew, what is now true, I feel, now missing the playoffs would be a disaster. Going into the year, they were like 50-50. But now, because of what's happened with Baltimore, because Joe Burrow is out for the season, and because they're off to this huge start, if they were to finish 9-8 and miss the playoffs, that is a disaster in a way it would not have been at the beginning of the year if you knew that was coming. And maybe this is my own, I have to just be honest with the audience, maybe I'm trying to hold on to my priors about this team going into the year, but I just feel like you can, if you want to, it's pretty easy to poke holes at their victories.
Yes.
And beating the Jets 34-32 is really bad as far as allowing the Jets to score 32. The Patriot game, you talked about it.
They could have won that game.
The Patriots turned the ball over five times. Some of those forced by Pittsburgh, and some the Patriots
But we could have won the game in the final drive.
Correct.
With a 5 turnover differential.
Right.
And then their other 2 wins, one's in Ireland against a backup quarterback, and the other's against the Browns, and who right now is currently the worst starting quarterback in the league, Dylan Gabriel. I don't know that he will be, but the rookie, third-round pick, really out of his depth.
But if they win tonight, it's like, Flacco?
No, but
it absolutely is that. And then we'll find out what they really are. Because Green Bay, Indy, the Chargers, and then they still got some Buffalo, Detroit. Like, they got some tough games.
And I'm not sure they're winning tonight. The Bengals have been awful since Burrow got hurt. I understand that. But it was something to me that Tomlin was annoyed that they were going to have to go against Flacco. That, to me, was a rare, honest press conference moment where it actually taught us something. And I do think that Flacco gives them the veritable live arm that with those weapons could cause problems.
Interesting.
And so I'm not certain Pittsburgh is winning tonight. Can't make it a part of next
Flacco
picks.
may have a run in him. 4 or 5 games. That's what he did with Cleveland.
Yep.
Nice little run, and so he might have that left.
Combined
with those
experience tonight, 39 seasons, 774 touchdowns.
That's pretty
and
good.
2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, and 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
That's the weird part.
Yeah.
It's like one legend and Joe Flacco. Actually, Joe. Checking on the champs, Eagles favored in Minnesota. They try to stop the bleeding after 2 losses. Now, there's been some talk about the return of the funk, of course, Brew. But here's A.J. Brown on the vibes in Philadelphia. Take a listen.
You tell me. You listen. What you think? Sound normal, huh?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, normal, exactly. So, we're not letting a loss just humble us, and you can't let it humble. You got to keep going, and continue to find ways. This team is fine. This team is motivated and trying to get on the same page.
There you go, bro. You heard that. It was just normal chatter in the background, and that means the Eagles are back on track. Do you expect the Eagles to show this against the Vikings?
Look, I'm not a body language expert, but I like his body language there. I like his demeanor. It didn't seem – we've seen him before where it's tense. He's being critical of the offense, quarterback, whatever it is. So that was good. And if that's the case, then great. I mean, we are reacting to this report from Jeremy Fowler that they feel like they're on the verge of going into the supernatural funk again. So if they're not, then fine. My thing with them is just, and he said later, I watched the whole interview. He said later that we're not going to let this get us down. We're going to so as long as they stay in a good place mentally, which has been a challenge for them. But if they do, their talent and ability will have them in the playoffs, should win the division. They'll be there in the end with a shot to do something in the NFC. That's my biggest concern with them. So I do think they will bounce back against Minnesota. Minnesota, look, they're not as good as, I mean, Flores has some quarterbacks have had their way with him a little bit. With
I
that
don't think the
defense.
Minnesota D-line's playing as well as they thought it would, as well as we saw early in the year.
Right, and obviously you've got it's going to be Carson Wentz again.
Yep.
Philadelphia cannot get Sirianni, never coached him, but he was there the year before Sirianni got there, and you cannot let Wentz cook you. You're coming off 2 straight losses. If indeed there is turmoil in the locker room, and this is the type of loss, 3rd straight backup quarterback, former teammate player on your team, that could lead them into a malaise, if you will. So, but I think they'll get it right. I think they'll win this game against Minnesota.
They are still S-Bob, correct?
Yeah, because they're coming.
Right,
absolutely, they got the talent.
Definitionally, they're coming.
Absolutely,
super talented. The defending Super Bowl champs. If they are S-Bob, this is not a fun Tuesday segment must-win. This is a literal must-win. If the Minnesota Vikings beat the Philadelphia Eagles with their backup quarterback, with Philly having extra rest coming off a Thursday, uber motivated with 2 straight losses, then the Eagles are not a Super Bowl team. And the last 15 years, there have been teams that have lost 3 straight and made the Super Bowl. We can show you who those teams are. They all kind of have their own story. For the Niners, that was Brock Purdy, the bad stretch he had.
Yes,
Remember?
Baltimore.
I think Cleveland was one of the games. The 21 Rams first year with Stafford. And then 2 surprising, I think it's fair to call them Super Bowl teams. The 2012 Ravens with Flacco and the 2011 Giants and with Eli the second time around. So it's not that it's not possible to lose 3 straight and make the Super Bowl, but I feel like this team is already such an emotionally teetering team that losing to a team that you're better than, that is not even their best version of themselves, would put them down a path that is not going to end up with them back in the Super Bowl. I also believe, KW, their way to win this game is through the right arm of Jalen Hurts. I think if something is going to stop the emotional bleeding and the on-the-field bleeding for the Eagles, nothing will stop it quicker or better than a win that Jalen Hurts plays great in. Because I don't think you are getting 2024 Saquon this year. I think that is just off the board. Yes, I'm not saying he won't have.
That is off the board.
Well, even,
2,000.
of course, 2,000 yards, but I'm
off the
saying
board.
him being the player he was last year for the remainder of this season, just the rest of the year.
He doesn't crack 60 yards now.
Right. I mean, he's cracked it once all year. And so I think it's going to, because not only would that give them a vibes lift, I also think that being Jalen having a great game would give us a better chance of getting a better version of Saquon than that. Because even though Saquon hasn't been great, teams are still defending the Eagles like he is the thing we have to take away. And if Jalen can beat them, and they have the weapons, and they have the offensive line, the onus is on him in this spot. And I am not saying he can't do it.
Didn't they come out throwing last week, or their last loss?
Well, last week was the last loss, the Giants game. Well, the Giants game was
First
weird.
half, if I remember.
Because Saquon had those 2 early big runs, and then...
And he had a touchdown reception.
Touchdown receiving.
Yeah, I think Jalen threw for almost 300 last week.
He threw for
in the Broncos game he threw a lot and they lost. I'm saying he threw a lot and they win.
At this point, they just need to win.
Oh, I agree with that. My point is, I think that's their path for this week.
That he needs to throw the ball.
That he needs that they need to have a dynamic. They have excellent receivers, a very good offensive line. I think their path in this game, it's going to be a controlled climate environment for Jalen to go out and cook.
Short week. There's the Flores' defense 6th in yards, 3rd in passing yards. They're only averaging 158, giving up 158.
Right.
Here's the issue.
And they're off a bye.
Yeah, the Eagles are off a bye.
The Eagles are off.
The Vikings are off a bye, aren't they?
No, the Vikings just played.
The Eagles played Thursday night.
The
So
Eagles have extra rest. The
extra
Vikings
rest.
have a short week. The great quarterbacks in the league, I don't look at the passing defense of their opponents. I'm never like, ooh, Mahomes going to have a tough time. Oh, Josh Allen's going to have a tough time. Oh, Drake May's going to have a tough time. I just think, you know what? The pressure is on the defense. The pressure is not on the quarterback. So I need to have that same philosophy towards Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
He needs to win the game.
Yeah.
He needs to win the game. He needs to stop the bleeding. He needs to be the leader.
That's the point.
It's going to drive me crazy. I'm the Jalen Hurts guy, but if they win 17-15 and he's got 112 yards and you're like, you know what? Winning's the only thing that matters.
Unless Saquon cooks. If
Okay.
Saquon ran for 130.
Sure.
Yeah.
If
Right?
Saquon's
Okay.
Bijan
Couple
Robinson,
touchdowns. Yeah.
I'll take it.
But so that we're saying the same thing.
Yes, we're
which
lockstep.
is that it is actually disrespectful to Jalen Hurts.
Correct.
To not say, hey, we have the Super Bowl MVP and our receivers are healthy and our team is not in a spiral, but spiral adjacent. Yeah. You know, and we're playing a backup quarterback.
Should be like,
the weather's going to be fine because it's in a dome.
I got it.
Yeah, I got it.
I got it. I got more rest. I got you
That's
guys.
what it
I got
should
two
be.
great. Everybody's healthy pretty
Yes.
much. His weapons are healthy.
Yeah.
All right. Hurts 2-0 against the Vikings in his career, so that's good. Raiders in Kansas City Sunday at 1. Fresh video of Rashee Rice back at practice as he prepares for his debut. Chiefs are favored by 11.5. Here's Patrick Mahomes on his rivalry with the Raiders.
When you step in the building during Raider week, I mean, it's I always said it doesn't matter if you're doing good, they're doing good, both doing bad. This game, it means more to everybody that's playing in the game, both sides of the football, and so you have to have that mentality. It's a true rivalry game. You don't have a lot of those in the NFL, and I'm blessed to be a part of it because it really does bring out the best in both teams.
Mahomes versus the Raiders, 12-2. Total yards, 315, 35 touchdowns. 6 interceptions, pass rate.
6 turnovers.
6 turnovers.
Because now we do. You made
But I do like
You made
that.
the adjustment. Total touchdowns, so that includes I think 1 rushing and 1 fumble.
We do have a correction from the last.
Well, you-
Is it
you
a
have it.
correction or an apology to me?
This is
You
why
shouted
it's-
me down.
This is why it's brewed.
No, they're off a short week. I'm just saying. I mean,
The Vikings were on.
The Vikings were on a
Chastised.
bye. The Eagles played Thursday. Both teams should be super well rested going into this week.
They traveled back.
That's all traveling.
apology accepted.
Nick, do you feel comfortable guaranteeing a double-digit Chiefs victory?
Before I answer the question,
Yeah.
can I revel in the moment for a second?
It's the Raiders. And
Can I revel?
no.
KW,
If you're asking, the answer is no. Because you
you
told
don't
me.
even know why I want to revel in it.
Why does he want to revel?
Yeah, but all right, tell me
He
why I
said
can't.
the Raiders
Go
were
ahead.
going to be
Because
awesome
you're like,
this year.
Chiefs are back.
The-
That's basically it. I don't know.
You're kind of right. We are just back to such familiar territory. It warms my heart.
Yes.
The internet is full of conspiracies, and the topic bars are, of course they'll win, but will it look good? And I just feel it's such a comfortable, warm place for
You're
me.
playing one of the worst teams in the league, so we're trying to.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they beat the Patriots.
Week 1
and
did
so
bad.
I'm just telling you, they
Week
beat the
1, who
Patriots.
knows?
I mean,
That's
everybody,
preseason.
everybody knows.
Preseason game 4.
So, and you showed, Mahomes against the Raiders, it really is stunning. And I know one of the wins came on Christmas, and one of the wins John Gruden had the team take.
Can you stop with this?
What?
This is not.
What do you mean?
Yes, as the leader of the show, Brew, from Chris and Company,
He doesn't
we
like
got to
this.
stop with this all games before
All
tackle.
games before tackle to turn the tide. It has to be fair. I just let you know, he did all of this before the tackle that turned the tide. So imagine what he's going to look like first game against the Raiders post the tackle that turned the tide. So listen, I do actually expect a blowout. I am not going to be including the Chiefs minus 11.5 in Nick's picks because if I know anything about Geno, he's going to go down fighting, and 17 can become 10 at the end, and that's a terrible way to lose a bet. But I think Kansas City, Patrick was not lying when he said Rashee Rice is going to get a full workload here. And I think that we saw it's unique because Rashee got hurt last year. so we didn't see him last year, and then he was suspended. But he did play in the preseason. And the only reason I'm mentioning that is I saw enough in the preseason to know he looked like pre-injury Rashee Rice. Yes, there will be some rust, but Patrick and Rashee, he's not really a traditional wide receiver one as far as a deep threat. Yeah. So much of it is intermediate that the timing, it's not like it is with Worthy so much where you really have to be on precise timing. So I would be stunned if the Chiefs are not up at least 10 at halftime. Oof. And now, how the fourth quarter plays out if the game's in hand is something different. But I think Kansas City is going to annihilate a better than people think Raiders do.
Wow. Well, look, I know the Raiders have the amazing Ashton Genty, but I'm with Nick. Well, Nick told us Genty was going to light the league on fire.
We are waiting for sort of his breakout moment.
Week 3, he was unbelievable.
Unbelievable?
Yeah, I think he had like 160 yards. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think he had
very good.
But go ahead.
Didn't make the show.
It did make the show.
When?
It doesn't. KW.
I'm just saying. I want a Bijan Robinson type.
No, he didn't have a 240-yard game.
Well, that's
he had a 160-yard.
He has been better of late. He's gotten his average up to 4.
Remember we did the whole thing about he went back to the Michael Myers stance?
Yeah, but we just did a still photo.
Go ahead.
I do think they're going to blow out. Look, Rashee, I just think we see the difference Xavier Worthy made. Just opening things up for Kelsey and all. And Juju all of a sudden was playing great and Hollywood. And now Rashee, I think more so than these other guys, he'll catch it underneath
and go somewhere
and take it. And so it's a lot to deal with for the defense. Beyond that, the Raiders' 4 losses have all been by an average of 16 points a game. 3 of them were blowouts. All right. Yep. And the Chiefs' 3 wins, 2 of them against Baltimore and Detroit, have all been by double digits. So the Chiefs have been.
Yeah, they haven't been close wins.
No,
they have 3
not
close
like
losses
everything
and 3 blowout wins.
But what they did last year. So yeah, I don't know if it'll be like a complete route. It might be 30-17 or, something like that. But I do expect a double digit.
30-17 is what they did to Detroit.
Trap game on the board. Larry Fitzgerald.
I think the only thing to lead to that is just it's a divisional game. But I see
Crosby.
No way. Their defense is actually pretty good.
I know. Larry Fitzgerald joins the show on Fox Sports Channel on SiriusXM and right here on FS1.
This episode is brought to you by Marqeta. When it comes to your payments provider, you can't afford to compromise. Marqeta's modern payment solutions flex with your business without the trade-offs. Stable and agile, secure and innovative, scalable and configurable. If they say you can't have it all, don't believe them. Your business demands more. Choose a payments provider that delivers more. Choose Marqeta. Visit Marqeta.com/Spotify to learn more.
Hey! If you get a chance, check out the podcast. It's really just flying up the charts. And the YouTube channel, Gianna's crushing it.
Yeah.
Had a great video. It's mostly about me, but still, it was like excellent, regardless. Joining us now, future NFL Hall of Famer.
Very soon.
I'm saying first ballot. Right. On behalf of DraftKings Pink'em campaign, which supports the Larry Fitzgerald Foundation and breast cancer awareness all October long, free to play Pick'em pools every Sunday, is Mr. Larry Fitzgerald. Larry, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
No, it was great to be with you guys. Big fan of the show, and it's an honor to be with you on today.
Wow, I feel
really
great.
Nice.
Thank you.
Honor to be on the show. All right, I just want to ask you about Puka Nacua, because in my head, somebody says who's the best receiver in football. The last few years, it's Justin Jefferson. If it's not Justin Jefferson, it's Jamar Chase. Those are the guys that I instantly say. But then I watch Puka Nacua, and every week that he's healthy, it feels like he's the most productive player in the league. In your opinion, does he have an argument that he is the best? And from watching him, what makes him, as a mid-round pick that people didn't see this coming, what makes him as good as he is?
I mean, I really enjoy watching him, and like what I really like about him is his short area quickness. he's impressed. He doesn't like he's getting a lot of separation, and then he's just able to separate in the catch window. He's really good after the catch. He's got really strong hands. He's an underrated blocker. No, he's just a really complete player, and I think having D. Adams on the other side also is giving a lot of favorable looks. When you have a guy who can win one-on-one, who's opposite to you, teams can't just primarily focus on you every single time. And he's got the most talented thrower of the football, and Matthew Stafford throwing it. He can throw it from any arm angle, moving to left or right. And that Sean McVay offense is, when they get going, there's only one I think is, funner to watch in rhythm, outside of Coach Shanahan and the 49ers.
Larry, Nick's talking about best receiver in the game. Justin Jefferson comes up a lot. And he hasn't, look, Kirk Cousins, very good quarterback. Now he's got Carson Wentz, J.J. McCarthy last year, Sam Darnold. And you had Kurt Warner for a little while, and then, good quarterbacks, but not the elite quarterbacks. How much, when we're talking about the best receivers in the game, how much should we look at guys that don't have the ultra elite quarterbacks but are still putting up these huge numbers, like a Justin Jefferson or even a Garrett Wilson with the Jets is putting up big numbers? How much of a factor should that be?
Well, I think you have to take it into consideration. I think, but really to me, I'm not saying Justin is better than Jamar, Jamar's better than Justin. I think they're the consensus 1-1 guys, but what Justin has done it with in terms of the carousel of quarterbacks he's played with, I think it really makes it unique. You never know where the guy's lining up out of the backfield. He's, number one, number two, number three in tryst formations. He's motioning across the field. Like, the guy and his ability to understand concepts and read coverages is really special, to be able to digest everything he's asked to do every Sunday. Jamar is really, really super talented. Catches it strong with his hands. People bounce off him. He runs through tackles all the time. But he does have Joe Burrow throwing the ball. And I think a healthy Joe Burrow, he's an MVP candidate. And that's a huge benefit. The way he's able to fit those balls in. Some of those catches he had last year when he was healthy, man, it was just long handoff after long handoff.
Larry, what do you make of the Eagles offense, where sometimes a mediocre pass game turns into a recipe for success, and sometimes a lackluster passing game just ends up being a lackluster final score? We turn our attention to A.J. Brown, and A.J. Brown's like, hey, I'm A.J. Brown. You could probably throw me the ball a little bit more. And then the media kind of gets on him. But at the same time, through another lens, it looks like, well, he might be the answer to the problems that this offense is having. What do you make of the whole Eagles oddity of their offense?
Yeah, it's a head scratcher when you watch it. You look at Devontae and you look at Goddard, and you look at AJ, you look at Saquon, you look at just all the talented, the offensive line. They just have a really, really talented group, and you wonder, why is this not, producing more offensive scoring and explosive plays? I think it really starts with, they just got to get the running game going. They got to get Saquon going like they had him going last year, and everything will come off of that. You get the single coverage looks, you'll get the middle field close and one-on-one coverage where you want to go, and give Jalen favorable looks to be able to make easy reads, which is really important. That's what made them special last year. They could run it down your throat. There was nothing you can do about it, and then they would hit you with the play action. They have to be able to reestablish that dominant presence up front, especially as you get later in the year when the weather becomes inclement.
Larry, we saw AJ last year when they were winning complain about, the passing game not getting enough targets and stuff. And I'll be honest, I do understand a great player wanting targets and wanting to put up big numbers. How do you walk that fine line between, yes, we want to win as many games and win the Super Bowl, but I also want to put up huge numbers because I'm like a Hall of Fame potential type receiver? How do you balance that? How does a player balance that, particularly as a wide receiver?
It's just hard, man. It's real hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. As a wide receiver, the first thing you're thinking, and a lot of times the only thing you're thinking about, is your own productivity and what you need to be doing and how they need to be, getting to you in this. With me, with AJ, it's not so much how many targets, it's the quality of the targets, right? Where he's getting post and deep comebacks and stops, and favorable one-on-one looks, right? Throwing me a go ball, when two guys are on, that's not a high quality target to me. So like it would be more so to focus on like, hey, like how do I get good opportunities and favorable looks? Like those are the things that I'd always kind of, hold in my mind. When coaches were just trying to get you a hitch, just to keep you quiet, right? You want the real substantive, meaningful targets against good looks, and I think those are the things that I think frustrates him more than anything.
I know we were just talking about A.J. Brown. This is not specific to A.J., but jumping off from that, can you take us to what it feels like during a game when man, there have been 6 times I was open. I was part of the primary progression. I was open, and it's not that the ball was inaccurate. They didn't even look. I didn't even get an opportunity. The ball was not thrown my way. Because that, happens, I'm sure, to every receiver at various points, certain guys more. What does that do to almost your spirit during the game and then right after when you have a game where when we cut on the tape, I was winning my matchup and I was not able to take advantage of that?
Yeah, there was many times where, when I was playing, I'm running open, you beat a guy falls down and the ball doesn't come to you. You get really frustrated, but also, there's things that are out of your control that you need to be able to always take in consideration in the body language, especially when you're a leader. The young guys are watching you. It doesn't make the situation any better when you fly off the handle. Then people are talking more about your antics and the things that you are dealing with in terms of your frustration, more so than the things that you want in terms of positivity and momentum that you're trying to create throughout the course of the year. So like, there's a really fine balance. And also like your temperament, if you got a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter and there was a play that you wanted to have back, you're not as upset as if you're losing or if the game is tight and you can make plays. So it kind of ebbs and flows based on what's going on in the game.
Hey, Larry, you seen Stefon Diggs?
He's back in a big way.
Yes.
My real question is, he seems like he came back from his knee injury. We saw him take Josh Allen to another level, and that was kind of the story of like Dayball and Stefon unlock Josh. Do you think that Drake is just like on this great trajectory, or does Stefon being there have a lot to do with that?
Well, I think we've all seen, Drake make kind of, splash, over the last year, right? But now it's the consistency, right? And Stefon is he's the confidence builder that a quarterback really wants. He's able to create separation. He makes tough catches in zone. And man, he's got very reliable hands, like the throw that he made on the right sideline when they were in the scramble drill, when he's rolling out. And there's not a lot of receivers that can make that catch for you, right? And those catches really, really build confidence in the quarterback to know he will make these tough contested catches. He will make toe tap highlight drill catches. Those are the things that really, really build confidence for a young quarterback. And he's been doing that since he was in Minnesota. He did it, he did it in Buffalo. He did it even in Houston before he was banged up. So everywhere he's done, he's produced, and he is the quarterback's dream.
Bro. Okay.
Well, Larry,
wait. This is. We're sorry for this one.
No. These guys know. Once upon a time, I was a receiver like yourself. Back in the day in high school. Right? In high school, I played the position, right? But Larry, I played before gloves. You had to catch the ball with your bare hands. I want to ask you. These sticky gloves, look, they look great, man. I'm glad they have them. How much do they help? I'm seeing all these one-handed catches, particularly in college, but all over. How much do these gloves really help?
They help a lot, because I'm not going to lie to you. The silicone, the design of the gloves definitely enhances your ability to make, really tough catches. But I'll also say that the equipment managers do a really good job of, brushing these balls down. These balls are so tacky compared to when I first got in the league, with pine tar and the different things they do to make the ball a lot easier to throw and handle in inclement weather. So I think the combination of them both, is really beneficial to pass catchers.
Wow. That's what I thought. They didn't have all that back when I played, man.
So you think you would have probably played at the next? You think you'd have made it to the league if you had some gloves on? Is that what you said?
I wish I could say that. I would love
Chris,
to say yes.
If we looking at all the receivers in the game, who would have been the Chris B in the game right now? Who closely resembles you?
What a great
I
question,
mean,
Larry. To say you're
probably Jamar. Jamar or Justin, one of those. I mean, pick which one you want.
Guys.
Hey, Chris, honestly, I used to play basketball in high school, and if I had to pick a guy whose game resembles mine, I'm going to go with Wemby. You know what I'm saying? We all live in the fantasy world. You know what I'm saying? We all live in the fantasy world.
Larry, thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
We appreciate it. We'll have you back on anytime you want.
Yeah,
All right,
thank
brother.
you so much,
Peace,
Larry.
man.
More first things first after the break. Lions, Bucs, Monday night. Detroit favored by almost 6. No Brian Branch. He's suspended for his Chiefs kerfuffle. Coach Mangini is here. Coach, are you expecting a Lions bounce-back game against what a lot of people think is the best team in the NFL?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Huh.
As much huffing and puffing as they did after the last game and all that bravado, Tampa can match their bravado.
Wow.
So there's that component to it. And then the second component is from a passing perspective, Tampa Bay brings a ton of pressure. So they're at almost 32% pressure, which is fourth in the NFL. And Goff's had a problem with that, historically has. And take a look at what's happened this season. So no pressure versus pressure, it's 53% versus 84%. Passer rating is significantly different. And they're gonna bring the heat because that's how they play defense. And so then you look at the running game, and Detroit's been very good running the ball. They're 8th, but the problem is Tampa Bay's 5th at defending the run. So in all these different categories, Tampa Bay matches up pretty well. And the fact that Baker's only thrown the 1 pick this season, to me, that's another really good sign for Tampa Bay.
Wow. I'm not, listen, no spoilers, but I might have an idea of who Coach's upset alert this week might be. A little 5.5, 8.5 pointer for the Tampa Bay Bucs. Listen, I also think that they've been focused on the wrong thing. I'm not doing the tiny hands thing, KW.
You almost did.
I thought
you were
flesh
too.
colored. I thought you were holding.
It's right here. I have it with me at all times. But I wasn't going to do a tiny hands bit. It didn't fit. Coach made a salient point about Jared Goff struggling with pressure. I just want to have a tiny hand on deck. The point I'm going to make is Jared Goff, like Dan Campbell yesterday was still talking about, I've never seen a team so mad that the Lions' stance seems to be, yes, what we did was illegal, but we should have gotten away with it, and we're pissed we didn't. And so that, to me, is weird. Like, because the whole controversy is, did the refs get help from New York or not in order to properly adjudicate the play? No one is arguing the play was legal and they got screwed on it. It's really that that part's weird to me.
I don't mean to interrupt, but before the game, oftentimes if you have a trick play, you'll show it to the officials in the locker room. Say, we're going to run this play, and we want to make you aware of it, especially if it's pushing something.
Right.
And typically, the officials will say, great, looks good, no problem. And when you get that sign off, that's where, and that's happened in games that I've been part of the past, where the official signs off on it pregame, running the game, then they decide they don't like it, and it can be really
so that they haven't said that's what happened. What was said is Tony Dungy was at their practice that week, saw them running it the way they ran it there, and told without the pause, and told the people at NBC, he was like, I thought they changed the rules since I was coaching because I saw them running it illegally. But so I think that is a little discomfiting to a degree. I also think teams, after they play the Chiefs, don't typically do that well. And that, I think, is noteworthy. If we can show you those numbers, there is an element of last 2 seasons after losing to the Chiefs. And it's
something.
Hey, they're 5-2. I think there is an element.
That is a Nick Wright graphic right there.
Well, it's not nothing, Coach.
No, it is something, but
something.
I never would have gone there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just think you put a lot in, and I think more so because this is the last 2 years. To me, the read on it from last year was because the Chiefs, almost all their wins were close wins. So it was like we were so close to beating the champs, and then we didn't, that it takes a little bit out of you. This is a different version, which is we weren't close at all to beating the champs. And so it's just a big game for the Lions, bro, because they've already lost to Detroit. I'm sorry, they've already lost to Green Bay. They then lose to Tampa, fall to 4-3. It's a
huge game, and that's why a bounce-back win is incoming.
Wow.
Detroit will bounce back. Look, I agree. I don't love the still, thinking about that Kansas City loss, but they know they are 2 straight. That was a bad loss for them.
Yeah.
So they need to come out there. I think Campbell do a good job of turning that anger and disappointment into fuel to win this game. They have not. I just think they're going to turn it around. And Tampa Bay they've been very fortunate this year. All right, 4 of their wins have come by a total of 9 points.
And
some of those were bad teams.
Well, they trailed in the final 90 seconds of all 4 of those games.
So I just think that Tampa Bay's luck's going to turn. In this game, I'm not predicting they're going to struggle for a prolonged period. But I think the motivation that the Lions have is so much that they're going to come back and bounce back. And I think Tampa Bay, their record is a little bit better than they've been playing. So,
speaking of motivation, coming up in 4 short minutes is the most motivational segment in all of sports. What is this?
It's a Shohei Ohtani.
It's a triple of Ohtani being under duress, Drew? Is this true? Or just an interesting?
No comment.
Coach, I would also do that in flag football. True story.
Once upon a mundane morning, Barb's day got busy without warning. A realtor in need of an open house sign. No, 50 of them, and designed before 9.
My head hurts.
Any mighty tools to help with this plight?
Aha!
Barb made her move. She opened Canva and got in the groove.
Bulk creating Canva sheets. Create 50 signs fit for suburban streets.
Done in a click, all complete.
Sweet!
Now, imagine what your dreams can become when you put imagination to work at Canva.com.
Live from New York, it's a film that says that Jamar Chase reminds them of their own playing style, and we're not sure he was joking. It's Chris and Company.
Larry asked.
Wow.
We changed the name of the show to
One receiver to another.
Chris and Company.
Oh, that's more accurate.
Chris and the boys. Wasn't that what it was?
Second hour of First Things First today. Are we expecting Aaron Rodgers to shine in prime time? We discuss. Meanwhile, Pasquatch is back to break down all the baseball playoffs. We got baseball coming up tonight right here.
Wow.
But right now, of course,
There's a
most
Blue Jays home run.
It's in the tease, Coach. Most motivational segment, all sports. Also, time we read some viewer mail. No Cowboy Brew today, as I said. I'm trying to retire the character.
Really?
Tried that once
trying
before.
for a long time.
And
Now I'm
upset Brew.
Because I didn't replace it.
Got it.
That's the issue. Now I've replaced it.
Oh. A new
With
member
just
of
a
the
thing.
Bruniverse?
No, I'm just trying to get rid of Photoshops in general.
Yeah.
I think that wave crested. Dear Wilds, do you think that Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics coaches would have cooked Brew and his NBA media brethren in his heyday? Thanks, Don. Well, this was the story going around. The Celtics media usually have a media on media game. The Boston Herald plays Nesson or whatever it is.
Exactly.
But then Joe Mazzulla said, actually, you know what? We're playing us.
Oh, that's Brew.
So we went back
Skyhawk for you youngsters.
Yeah.
in the
Jabbar
archive.
used to do it.
Brew, if you could have
at
your
that.
dream
Who
team.
is that you're posting up?
Mike Buckland, who played at the University of Georgia.
Yeah, that is true.
Played at
He was
Georgia.
a walk-on, but
Buckland
still.
played at Georgia.
Yeah, see, that's who I'm
So,
schooling.
Brew,
right
what's your
there.
dream team of media that you would have to take on Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics?
Well, back in the day, I used to run with Stephen A. He was a good player, could shoot.
Yeah.
Matt Steinmetz. I call him the Larry Bird of the media.
I wonder why.
Very good. But he's white, but he can ball. He can ball. He's like slow, can't jump, but man, you can't stop him.
Bucher you had on
Rick Bucher was good. Mike Wise, my former
Mike Wise?
colleague
I like
at the
Mike
New York
Wise.
Times, 6'5".
Oh.
We'd have scored more than 4 points. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
We'd have scored more.
You set a very high bar there, Boo.
Well, that's all.
57-4.
You double them up. Yeah.
Come on. All right.
Time now for the Bud list.
Here we go. At number 3, we're going to baseball. It is that time of year. My man, Shohei Ohtani.
Wow.
Now, Shohei, you're in a great position. Yes, I get it. You are struggling. But your team is rolling. All right? Your last 2 series, 6 games, 2 for 25. That's an 80 batting average. 0-8-0.
Yeah.
All right? So you're obviously struggling, but like I said, the team is rolling. So nobody's jumping on you. And if you guys keep winning, this will be fine. Here's the deal, though. You're the BOAT, the best of all time. And BOATs, Michael Jordan, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, BOATs get it done in the biggest games. All right, last year in the World Series, hit 105 or something like that in the World Series last year. So you struggled in the World Series last year. If you win it this series, win the World Series, people won't really focus on the struggles. But for your individual accolades, I know you want to perform better, and your team's going to need it. Now, the thing is, you have, unlike everybody else in history except Babe Ruth, you have 2 ways to get it right. And you're not starting tonight in Game 3, but you will start on the mound in Game 4. So even if you don't hit well, if you pitch lights out, then that'll be huge for you. So nobody can say that you choked or you're not, getting it done in the postseason. So, Bo, I believe in you. I'm expecting a bounce back game tonight, Coach. All right, at number 2, let's get to the gridiron. Nick Sirianni. Not Jalen Hurts.
Good.
Nick Sirianni. The amount of turmoil that seems to follow not only Eagles' losses, but wins is incredibly unusual. And Nick, there's some on this show that don't think you're all that hot. I think you are a very good coach. I mean, I don't know if we have the graphic of your win percentage.
It's high.
It's incredible. I mean, look at this. Like, most of those guys aren't even modern day. All of them are not modern day. John Madden's the closest. So you are doing a phenomenal job. Obviously, you have the Super Bowl win and another Super Bowl appearance. And so that gives you the cachet to go ahead and just keep this stuff out of your locker room. You got to talk to the players about, look, after a loss, obviously after a win, let's say the right thing to the media. Let's not criticize our teammates and things like that and talk about what's wrong if we're winning games. We can talk about it internally, but we don't have to go to the press with it. And this supernatural funk stuff has to end. It cannot be revisited. And I would say this, tonight or this weekend when you guys play, get the ball to Saquon Barkley in the passing game. He's not running the ball well, but get it to him in the passing game. Get a few touches in the run game for A.J. Dillon to spare, Saquon some hits. And I would say get it early to A.J. Brown, keep him happy. But most importantly, get the W. Nick, I actually believe in you. I really do. All right, number 1, Tua. Tough week. Tough year.
Yeah.
Tough year. 1-5. Y'all might not know this. First season of Tua's career where he is under 500 in games he started.
Yeah.
Like, Tua has won. We haven't ranked him as an elite quarterback even when he had elite numbers a couple years ago. But he has won. I know he hasn't beaten great teams, but he has won a lot of games and made a difference for that team. This year, of course, they're 1-5. You lost your best receiver in Tyreek Hill. Your coach seems to be in a lame duck situation, Mike McDaniel. And you have made some ill-advised comments. Now, I respect that you came out and apologized for it. And I actually like Tua, your demeanor. Like, you speak with authority in a press conference. He really does. Yeah. Like, you after big losses, you played terribly, but you're speaking with authority, which I like. You just have to understand when you don't play well, or even if you do, you can't point the fingers at your teammates. You're trying to be a leader. I get it. But do that in the locker room. You can't be pointing your fingers at your teammates in the media. So, look, it's a get-right game this weekend against Cleveland. They're 1-5 like you. Now, they're looking at you. Dylan Gabriel's looking at you guys like, oh, it's time to get my first W. But you guys should go out there and beat the Cleveland Browns. You must win, and you must play well. And if you don't play well, if you don't win, don't point the fingers at your teammates. Point them at yourself. What is it? What is that saying?
Point thumbs, not fingers.
Point thumbs, not fingers. There you go. Tua, I believe in you. I believe in your character. I'll say that.
That's great.
You know what I love about the Bud Light?
What, Coach?
It's constantly evolving. So not only are you giving the motivational segment, but you're giving scouting reports to Sirianni. You Saquon in the passing game, and like there's layers to it.
I'm all about helping.
It's so good.
I'm all about.
So I'm just gonna add one person. It hurts me a little bit to add this guy because he's near and dear to my heart. I'm gonna add Jaden Daniels to this list.
Ooh.
And here's why. So he had the disastrous sort of end of game last week, and he also had the pick that was in the red zone, so he lost points there, and then they turned around and got a field goal, and then he had the fumble late, so that's last week. And then 4 out of the last 5 games, you've been trailing by 10 points in each of those games, and you lost 3 of them. So that's problematic as well. Now you go into this week, and you're facing the number 1 offense with points, and I think they're number 2 in yards, so a high-powered offense. Dak's playing outstanding. But the good news is you're facing the number 32 defense and points and 31 in yards, so you have an opportunity to be outstanding as well. I think Dan Quinn should give you an edge defensively from his experience with Brian Schottenheimer and with Dak Prescott. And now for you, this division has changed dramatically with the way that Philly's fallen off. You have a real opportunity that wasn't here 2 weeks ago to make this much more interesting as we enter sort of the mid part of the season.
I like that, Coach. I like that. Coming off a bad game, facing a bad defense, it is a perfect get-right game, as we say.
Gotta have it.
Ooh, we're a little bit early.
No, it's usually 4:10.
Oh, that was 4:12.
No, it's supposed to be 4:10.
Oh, we're a little bit late.
Yeah.
It's just right on time.
Well, we missed it. Well, it's 4:10:40 right now, so that means whether you like it or not, it's time for the Sports Media Ombudsman.
So here's the deal.
All right.
I had a plan this week to not do the Sports Media Ombudsman.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I was going to do a regular Bud List edition like we used to, and then I was going to have the Pasquatch come on and do his own Sports Media Ombudsman in place.
Oh.
Kevin Wildes vetoed it. I said to him, I didn't even know he had veto power. He was like, obviously, leader of the show, I have veto power.
Now the Pasquatch is
I thought it would be fun. I thought a player coming in, ripping the media potentially could be fun. Didn't happen. So now I'm a little up in the air.
Okay, now we're
so
getting behind the scenes.
I could have done a Sports Media Ombudsman about the dopes on 97.1 The Fan in Detroit, Mike Valenti and company, who have not stopped whining about the penalty all week long. Yes, we've been listening. One guy wanted 4 taunting penalties, called them Mahomes. These babies. Your team's been good for 3 years. You act like you've been there before. But I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to do a regular Bud List edition.
Good.
Like we used to.
This is great.
Wow.
Why'd I do the intro?
I don't know. So I am putting Zaire Franklin, Colts linebacker, on the Bud List because he did the single most dangerous thing you can do in football. Little salty language here, kids. This is courtesy of the Club 520 podcast, which again, not safe for work. We've cleaned it up as best as we can. Here's Zaire Franklin when asked about Juju Smith-Schuster getting cheap shotted.
First of all, Juju needed his.
Damn.
Let's just go there. Number one.
Why does everybody say that?
Him specifically really needs his.
What is wrong with Juju?
Bro, he been needing his for a minute. Brian Bair's doing the work of the Lord, bro. Whoop that man, bro.
Brew, I don't know if your earpiece was working. The short version of it is he said Juju needed his butt whooped, and then he said it repeatedly. So the most dangerous thing in football you can do is, of course, give the Kansas City Chiefs, and most notably Patrick Mahomes, actual bulletin board material.
Is it coming out?
No, it's not. But I have retired the bulletin board for now. I decided it was only deserving when the Chiefs were the actual defending champions.
We're getting there.
Otherwise, but let me just explain though. The Chiefs have a tough schedule. Coming a tough schedule all year. They don't have many non-premier primetime games. They only have a few 1 o'clock Sunday starts all year. One of them is the Colts game, which comes right after the Broncos game, huge divisional game, and 4 days before the Cowboys game on Thanksgiving, which I'll go ahead and say will be the most watched regular season game the NFL's had, maybe ever. If there was ever a time the Chiefs might not be fully locked in for an opponent, it would be sandwiched in between. It goes Bills game, Broncos game, Cowboys game on Thanksgiving, that Colts game. Well, now they will be.
Yeah.
You've got Zaire Franklin out here, and he went on much longer talking about Juju Smith-Schuster. It's all been going so well for the Colts this year. They've been flying under the radar. They're 5-1 with no controversy. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, if they stay this hot, the team they're going to be competing with for the 1 seed is the Kansas City Chiefs. Beating the Chiefs in that game when you already have this type of lead would give you probably an insurmountable edge. Zaire Franklin going on Jeff Teague's podcast talking crazy about a game he had nothing to do with. What are you thinking? Zaire Franklin, I don't believe in you. Even though you were all pro last year, I think it's a bad job by him.
Can I tell you something? You got to open up the aperture a little bit on Sports Media Ombudsman. Jeff Teague's podcast is within your jurisdiction.
It's media.
Yeah.
You're right. Sports Media Ombudsman.
Sports Media Ombudsman
exactly
is back.
Right. Yeah, we're back.
I'm putting I'm putting Father Time on the bud list. Quick story. Now that we're getting a little bit closer to Halloween. I don't know if anyone is a fan of horror movies. I don't know if you're a fan of horror movies. Are you, Chris? Ever watch a horror movie?
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen it. Doesn't really seem like his cup of tea.
Scariest horror movies are when there's demented children. Oh, like haunted kids. Yikes, The Exorcist, that type of stuff.
Weapons, the one that just came out.
I didn't see that one. Too scary.
Like dolls?
So, I don't know.
Haunted dolls.
The scary dolls is also scary. But there's always a scene in these haunted kid movies where the kid comes to the dinner table, starts speaking a dead language. Okay. And the ghost hunter is like, that language hasn't been spoken in 10,000 years. That's the first sign you know your kid is haunted or been taken over by the devil himself. Yeah. Well, the other day I was at my own dinner table, and my children started speaking in so many slang terms that my wife and I called the ghost hunter. And we said, are my children possessed? And they say, no, you're just chopped and washed. I said, okay, sorry, I understood. But it made me and my wife both feel like we were old and just, out to pasture, put us in the home.
Well,
maybe get myself a robot.
Stop it.
I'm just saying because loneliness is an epidemic. Yeah. Luckily I have my wife, but I'm getting very old.
Yeah.
And then there's nights like tonight where I feel I'm not old, I'm prime time. Tonight,
well done.
There will be 3 40-year-olds throwing that thing around. Joe Flacco, Aaron Rodgers, Max Scherzer. A combined 57 seasons of experience, over 1,000 games, and Josh did Scherzer's pitches over 66,000 throws.
Good job, Josh.
And the best part about this, one of them is going to win. So
maybe two.
Maybe two. Yeah. It is a no-lose situation for 40-year-olds. Now, I know you might be thinking, oh, why else? What about LeBron? LeBron's hurt. That's a bad sign. Maybe we are washed and chopped.
Can I?
Wrong. Chris Paul played last night and did great. Chris Paul stats.
Is he 40?
Yeah, just turned 40. 8 points, 10 assists, plus minus of 24 in the preseason game.
Wow.
Chris Paul's doing great. I think he's 40. I'm almost positive, but I probably should have double-checked it. So, Father Time, we're back. We're not washed and chopped.
Can I, Brew, I know you're the one supposed to respond, but may I say something real quick to that?
Absolutely.
I think it's great Wilds. And it should make me feel excellent.
Why?
Because I'm 40. I'm their age. I'm 40, 41.
Yeah,
there aren't a lot of 50. I am.
You're like old.
You're right about that.
You've been through it.
That's all true.
Just out there late nights.
That's all true. I fail to see how this applies to you.
What do you mean?
Because you're about to turn 50.
Yeah, well, I am 50.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Just post 40.
Yeah. Oh, okay. not just 40-year-olds.
feel good
so then
about
Bruce
that,
should
too.
feel good too.
Yeah, we all should feel good.
Okay.
I feel good.
Coach?
I'd like to feel good.
Yeah, you feel good too.
Everybody. Okay.
Everybody except Josh and Ramsey. And
just the young people should feel bad.
Yes.
The 40 and up crowd should feel good.
Yes, they're actually young washed.
Table full
Young
of unks.
washed.
Yep.
Right.
Yes, we got this is talk.
Coming up next, the Pasquatch joins us. Wow, the Pasquatch got a beautiful suit on. I like that the Pasquatch still wears Royals colors.
Yeah, of course. I also
representing.
Yeah, looking great. Pasquatch talking baseball. He got everything right yesterday. Next.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear him.
Before we let you go, do you have a prediction for tonight's game?
No, I need to know if the roof is open or closed because you cannot see there when it's like twilight. So if the roof is open and the sun's out, if the roof is open, sun is out, I'm taking the Blue Jays. If not, I'm taking the Mariners.
Gorgeous night here in Seattle. With the roof open.
Shane Bieber spins it a little bit better than George Kirby, and it's harder to see spin.
Shane Bieber, who has transformed from his first game to this one. 7 Ks.
Vlad's struggling. I mean, he went off in the last series against New York. If he gets 3 hits tonight, he's a 300 hitter this series.
Vlad Jr. sends a high drive to deep center field. Rodriguez to the wall, it's gone. Single, double, homer, Vlad Jr.'s back.
I was going to say the same thing. It was more of like a question. It was more of like a quiz.
Yeah.
We're testing.
You nailed it. Welcome back to First Things First, the Pasquatch. Just classic one. That's your
that was
first
great.
classic
That was
one.
uncanny.
Immediately right on everything. Yeah. Congratulations. You're sort of the arbiter of classic ones. Maybe.
Well, it's my categories.
Yeah.
Historically, it applies to my opinions, but I don't like when you say you had a classic one or two or something, but Vinny can have it.
I probably should have retired after yesterday.
I mean, it was pretty good. Real quick,
1,000.
If the Mariners agreed with you, they should have closed the roof. Like it's their stadium. Like I thought, they must not think it has as much of an impact as we saw they did. That was great.
So, I mean, Vladdy did get 4 hits. We're going to start there.
Yeah.
We were pretty
Do you have his batting average in this series?
Yeah, 4 for 11, so it's 360.
So I want to get your quick opinion on this, a small thing, and then we'll get to a bigger picture. Blue Jays are up 12-2 on the 8th here, video. Okay. He's got a single, double, and a home run. He's a triple away. He hits this one. That is a triple ball. You are not necessarily speedster on the base path.
I have 3 triples.
Okay, there you go. They're up 12-2, but it's the playoffs. Do you think he should have gone for the cycle? His teammates kind of feel like they wanted him to.
Postseason stats don't matter. So, like when you look at the history, when you look at players' histories, it's kind of hard to find playoff stats sometimes. So, I guess it would have been cool, but I don't think it really matters.
Bro, what do you?
I think he would have got nailed too. If you, it looked like he wouldn't have.
Would have been fun.
That's what I would think. Honestly, like a little spark to like, oh, he tried for it. We're having fun. The pressure's off. I think that's something.
So you think he should have?
Yeah, even if he gets thrown out head first slide. So this is a larger question. Do you think the Blue Jays can take this momentum and win another one?
They need Scherzer to go tonight. I think if he throws more than 3 innings, they win. So that's my prediction for tonight.
Write it down.
I think if Scherzer goes more than 3, the Blue Jays win.
It would be listen, I understand. Scherzer's a future Hall of Famer. He's won 3 Cy Youngs.
Yeah.
He was on a World Series champion a couple years ago. Now he got hurt during that postseason. He obviously has not been good with the Blue Jays. He was mediocre, and then at the end of the year, you guys beat him 20-1, and struggled.
Well, the score is 20-1.
It was a source of pride a little bit for us. It was the worst start of his career, I think, in terms of length. He didn't get out of the first inning.
Yeah.
20-1's rough.
Yeah, and that was two start. That was his second most recent start. He started 1 game since.
Yeah, so he's had a lot of rest, so he's healthy.
Go ahead.
Because he was you could definitely tell he was grinding a little bit. So getting him back and healthy. This is his first one of the postseason, right?
Yeah, first one since September 24th.
Yeah, so he'll be healthy. He'll be ready to go. But we'll see how they want to.
What do you think when they're preparing for the game, they being the Blue Jays, are penciling in? All right, we're going to get X amount of outs out of Max tonight.
They're probably, if I had to just guess, they're probably looking at one time through the order.
Okay. So that's why you're saying 3 innings.
That would be my guess, is that they'd like him to get somewhere between 9 to 15 outs. So 15 would be great.
I mean, I think he's got a 17 ERA in his last 2 outings, but
one of them
how
was
confident do you think do you feel in him going out there and turning back the clock and having a great play?
I'm pretty confident in it. The thing is he loves his fastball. He's old school in that regard. Right. When he gets into trouble, he falls to the fastball. It's his pitch. So we'll see if the Mariners are ready. I mean, they'll be ready for it. They know that too. So it'll be interesting. But it's Max freaking Scherzer. It's one of the best pitchers of all time. So
if you, like, with your kind of, obviously professional eye, what are you looking for early on in the game, first few hitters, where you will see like, oh, he's got it or he doesn't?
It'll be the fastball at the top of the strike zone, a little bit above, and it'll be the slider.
What do you mean, like that he's hitting those spots,
hitting
or it's got speed?
If he's got that control. I think his velocity will be anywhere from 92 to 95 tonight. Seattle's a good place to pitch. I'm envisioning him going down and in sliders to Raleigh, and if he's landing them for swings and misses, like just off the strike zone, a little bit below, a little bit in, if he's able to get those swings and misses, he'll have a good night.
I want to ask just because when you said that miles per hour, I want to ask a generic question that might apply more to, kind of vintage Max Scherzer than current, but I think it's informative to the audience. Well, you and I were talking yesterday off the air about how so many guys, young guys, come up, maybe they have short careers, but they can throw 100.
Yep.
And it seems like it's commonplace these days for guys to be throwing 101, 102. Yeah. When that exists, and some of the best pitchers like Scherzer in his heyday, they're fast. I know he could touch 99, but his fastball sat around 95. How can a guy be an overpowering pitcher the way he was without having overpowering power? Like, what is it that he can do that allows him to compensate for the fact that he's not throwing 102 the way some guys are?
Well, I think I can say this. It's what we would call an FU fastball. There's just a lot of confidence behind it. There was some stat given a few years ago I remember reading, because we faced him in 24 when he was coming off of injury with Texas. And basically the stat is he leads the league in middle pitches. He's coming right after you. He's not scared to get ahead 0-2. So that's kind of where it's the ability that he has to just be so confident in that fastball that it makes you uncomfortable in the batter's box, because it's an interesting arm slot. The angle's a little different. You can't see it as well as you can from other people. So it's just a little bit uncomfortable in there on him. And there is that piece where you know how great a guy is. You want to make sure that you get him. You don't want him to get you.
Just follow up real quick about last night. So I was rooting for the Blue Jays because I won a long series. Like, I don't really have a rooting interest in the series other than I didn't want to sweep. So when I saw the Mariners go up 2-0 in the first inning with the home run that we showed, it's like, well, this is a bummer. Like, they got beat up the first 2 games in Toronto. Now it's 2-0 on the road. I was shocked that they responded the way they did. Were you surprised? And B, are the Blue Jays now in a position where if they win tonight, they have stolen the series back from Seattle?
Yeah, well, because then you guarantee you go back home. So I think that's important, and they've been really good in Toronto all year, and it's nice to get back to your home. But I think the way that they did it instills confidence in you, with Ernie Clement, who's hitting 8th, him, I believe it was a double down the left field line, a pitch in off the strike zone, and then Andres Jimenez hitting a homer there to tie the game up. I mean, that's huge. So the ability to do that is just that's what you're looking for in the playoffs. Is, in my opinion, I've always thought the bottom of the lineup carries teams to World Series. How can you flip to get to the middle of your order? If you can have guys on base for them, that's where they're going to do their damage. And if you can flip the lineup, and if those guys can provide any sort of power at all, that's where you're going to win championships.
I like that. As a guy who was at the bottom of the order, I used to, I like that. I mean, the Mariners should win this one. If you steal the first 2 games on the road, you win the playoff series 89% of the time. Yeah. Historically, there has been a few changes, but we'll see. Meanwhile, in LA, the Brewers trying to show that they've got a pulse at the plate since they've only gotten 5 hits, Vinny, this whole series. Dodgers pitching historically excellent. Postseason ERA of 1.54. Now, for perspective, here's what Alden Gonzalez wrote on ESPN. The Dodgers foursome of Ohtani, Blake Snell, Yamamoto, and Glasnow, who's pitching tonight, has been better so far, at least, than the 1996 Braves of Maddox, Clavin, and Smoltz. Better than a 1912 New York Giants staff led by Christy Matthews and Brew. Is he a nice guy? He's such a
did
star.
Cover that 96 World Series.
Dead ball era. And, of course, you know, in Snakes lore.
Oh, yeah.
This is an all-time Snakes team. Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling. So Glasnow tonight. Vinny, do you expect the Dodgers' dominance to continue?
It's hard to argue against.
I felt like that was just like, oh, I didn't know I'm watching a historic, like an all-time pitching.
Yeah, if the Brewers can put pitches on Glasnow tonight, they can be successful. That's where you get him. Is he's throwing his best stuff all the time. He's not necessarily trying to command it. He's just trying to throw it in the strike zone somewhere. They're going to set up middle, and he's got really good stuff. So. His control sometimes gets a little out of whack. So if they can get him out within the.
What does that mean for a hitter when you're saying like he's just got really good stuff and he's not really aiming his pitches? It's just what does that mean for you? If you know that about a pitcher, what does that mean for your approach?
It means you got to pick either I want to be way more aggressive or way less aggressive. You can't really be in the middle of, all right, I want to try to have a good at bat off this guy. It's just, all right, I know he's going to be throwing 95 to 99 with a little bit of cut on his fastball. I know he's going to rip his slider, which just means he's going to try to throw it as hard as possible. And if you're lefty, he's going to try to get it in off the plate and break your bat. And if you're righty, he wants you to chase that pitch away. But if you're stubborn enough in the box and you're looking for pitches down the middle and you stay to that plan, you can make him walk you. You're going to strike out, but he's going to strike you out no matter what. And you almost try to get him out of the game. That's the goal.
We know that they thought about throwing Ohtani tonight, decided not to. Do you think that's the right decision, or does it even matter?
I think it's probably what Ohtani wanted, I'm guessing. And also, if they win tonight, you go up 3-0, and Ohtani has a chance to eliminate some of the hitting woes with a nice pitching performance to win the series tonight. Be good for you guys to talk about.
Absolutely. I feel like the Dodgers might just cruise.
It's very forgotten that the Brewers had the best record in baseball.
Right. Yes.
But you watch the series and it's just, it's not tough to watch by any means, but it's just like, man, come on, Brewers.
They just seem like a super team.
Right.
I mean, they literally, but.
I mean, they are a super team but here's
financially.
The other piece of it is this. Like, listen, the Dodgers annihilated them in Game 2, and Yamamoto obviously had the complete game. We are also potentially, I forget the guy's name, I apologize, one hitter from not moving out of the way from a pitch to this series being under a totally different light, which is, why did you take out Snell? The Dodgers bullpen, which was the only real concern about the team coming in, potentially costing them Game 2. So this is kind of, I guess, I want to go back all the way to Game 1, then ask you about the bullpen. First one is this. I saw that. I was watching it oddly with a diehard Brewers fan, and we're like, "Oh my God, you got to let it hit you." Is that real? Like, is that realistic? If someone in the batter's box to be able to process situation like I should let this hit me, or is it just all of your instinct is I should not let this thing hit me?
It's tough. I mean, I went to college, and college coaches love getting hit by pitches. So I was basically taught for 3 years to lock my feet. But with, a person who gets hit by a lot of pitches, most people define as ball player. Like that is what the gritty.
Yeah.
And Bryce Terang is that.
Yep.
So him getting out of the way of that pitch sucks because you could see his body language right after it happened. Like he knew.
Yeah.
Right. He regretted it instantly.
I almost feel like he swung at the next pitch because he couldn't remove himself from what had just happened.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like he was probably a little panicked of, oh my God, what just happened? Why did I not let that pitch hit me? So it sucks because it could be 1-1. Brewers could be up 2-0. You never know what could happen.
Yeah. But then to go back to what you were saying real quick before we move on, if the plan is we just want to get the starter out of the game, is it as simple as We're not swinging at first pitches. We are just trying to work his pitch count, even at the expense of maybe leaving some potential hits on the board early in counts, just to force him to work the count to try to get to the bullpen?
It's that cat and mouse game, because a little bit, maybe, you want to be a little bit more patient, but also if they start to see that you're not swinging early, well, now you're down 0-2 every at bat, and he could be out of there at 9 pitches if he does it right. So, but, I mean, I think Glasnow would admit himself, like, he's not necessarily trying to go be Greg Maddux out there. He's trying to strike you out as quick as he can. Yeah. So he could get up 0-2 every at bat, and then you gotta play the game of, hey, I will swing early if it's there, but if it's not exactly where I want it, I'm going to lay off of it.
All right, before we let you go, and you will be on Frenemies and first things first, OT. What are your predictions for tonight? Give us the Max Scherzer thing. Do you have anything else? Because you had like 5 in a row to start the segment.
For the Dodgers game?
Yeah.
I think the Brewers.
Give us
I say the Brewers win tonight. I don't know how.
Tonight.
I'm not as connected to the NL as I am the AL.
Okay.
But Ohtani gets the hit off of another lefty to start the game. Aaron Ashby starting. Bullpen game for the Brewers, which is a little scary. But I think the Brewers pull it off tonight. They win. That's it. That's my prediction.
Okay. And what about Steelers-Bengals?
Flacco. Yeah, Flacco, right?
Yeah.
Throws for like 500 yards.
Oh, wow. Love it.
I mean, he's facing my former quarterback.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's go Bengals.
Yeah.
All right, tonight is game for Vlad in the Blue Jays taking on the Mariners, 8 o'clock right here on FS1. Thank you, Vinny. Stick around. More First Things First after the break. Start your Saturday strong. Michigan, Washington at the Big House. Coverage starts 10 a.m. with big noon kickoff. Then it's Wolverines, Huskies at noon. Shout out to Washington. Lots.
Big week for Washington.
Huge
State
week for Washington. Also, Fox Super 6 NFL Challenge. You download the app and you enter for a free shot to win your share of $10,000 in cash prizes. You are not eligible.
No, I've won it.
Won too often.
Correct.
Welcome back to the show. Coach Mangini back. Steelers, Bengals tonight. Combined age of the quarterbacks, 81. Here's how they fared this year. Kind of the opposite, 4-1 and 1-4. But look at Flacco's numbers with the Bengals. 219, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions in his first game. So pretty good. Coach, could you see Flacco outplaying Aaron Rodgers tonight?
So I get why Tomlin was mad, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Flacco's 11-11 against the Steelers. There's nobody that has more working knowledge of how that defense plays and how they can exploit it. And he has the ability to go off at any point. So you're a little Jameis Winston-esque where it can be 5 touchdowns for you, or it could be 5 picks the other way. So all that stuff is exciting. Now the downside here is the Steelers are going for a record that none of the great Steelers defenses achieved. So they've had 3 straight games with 5 sacks. If they get at 5 sacks this game, that'll be the first time in Steelers history that's ever happened.
He can't get sacked 5 times.
Well, they've done it 3 games in a row where they've had 5 or more sacks. So since 1963, no Steelers team has ever done that, and so they're searching for that record. And Flacco against pressure, I talked a little bit earlier about Goff against pressure, but Flacco against pressure, if we can pull up the graphic, it's not
good.
It's not good.
No. I mean, to be fair, Flacco without pressure is not great.
It's not but going from 85.2 to 34.8 is really bad.
Yeah. Is that as simple as, Coach, as tell me if I'm just too simplistic, 40-year-olds do not want to be found on the ground?
Yeah, well, nobody really wants to be found on the ground, but he's a stationary target too, so he needs a clean pocket. And actually, he had a little bit of ability to move outside the pocket back in the day, but that's
in the
that's
standard
gone.
Definition era.
So we've got the Steelers now, 3rd highest team in pressure, looking for a sack record.
So I'm very confident Joe Flacco's not going to be sacked 5 times tonight.
Wow, you're betting that?
Well, I just think if it gets to sack 4, I don't know if he's on the field for sack 5. So I don't know if it's going to get there. I also think he absolutely could have the better game.
Oh.
And I understand this is not apples to apples. It's not totally fair. But if we treat him becoming a Bengal in a similar light as him taking over in Cleveland after Deshaun got hurt, when he took over in Cleveland, There's 5 games he played before the playoffs. The first game was a disaster. And by the way, he wasn't a disaster last week. They lost by 17. He looked old. 75 rating. The next 4, they went undefeated. He threw for 340 a game. Still turned it over a couple times a game because why not? Have some fun. Yeah, and threw 3 touchdowns. His numbers this year, to Coach's point, it shows he's a lesser player than he was 2 years ago, but it's also he had lesser weapons in Cleveland than he has right now in Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is a very live dog tonight because one of the benefits I feel, Brew, of having Flacco is what Coach said, which is he is not going to play to not make mistakes.
Yeah, that's not.
And so he's out. Like he doesn't need the money. He loves to play and he loves to chuck it deep.
Yeah.
And Jamar Chase wants to get his numbers. T. Higgins has not had a good year.
Right.
He wants to get his numbers, and I think the Steelers are slightly overvalued.
Huh.
And so that's where I fall.
I hear all that because I do just feel like Flacco, like I've said it, and it showed that when his time in Cleveland, he could have a 4 or 5 game stretch where he just lights it up. And so that could come. But then when I look at what you said with the Pittsburgh pressure, they're second in the league in sacks with 20. And we know Cincinnati's offensive line isn't great. At Flacco's age, he's not mobile. And then on top of that, Cincinnati's defense, which has given up the second most passing yards in the league. So I just think Rodgers is facing a pretty weak defense, and Flacco's facing a really tough defense. So that makes me feel like Rodgers should definitely have the upper hand. And he's better at this point. There's no question about that. So I'm going to go with Rodgers and just give Flacco hey, any given Sunday or Thursday in this case, anything can happen. But
It's time now. Sorry, Brew, before we go to break, for your favorite segment, picks.
I love it.
Okay, here we go.
It's
Coach, your start first.
Yeah, I really want to go with Flacco, but I'm not gonna. And I'm going 24-17 Steelers.
Oh, wow, with an exact score. I'm not giving,
we're not.
No, that's great. It's a bonus, Coach. Okay. And now you're only correct if that's the exact score. I'm not giving you a score.
No, okay, good.
But the Bengals are going to win.
The Bengals are going to win.
The Steelers are not. This is not savvy analysis. I understand that. Okay? But the Steelers are not a 6-1 team. That's my analysis.
That's what I said about Indy. Not 5-1.
They're a 5-1 team. Pardon me, because they had the Steelers. Right, correct. So the Steelers are not going to be a 5-1 team. The Bengals are not going to lose 5 in a row. The Bengals somehow win tonight.
Just because I'm up next, Brew, you're going to run the anchor leg. I thought when Tomlin was upset, I thought that was real, that he didn't want to play Flacco.
Oh, it's real.
And we have so many storylines on this show about wide receivers wanting the ball, and there's always all this like team unity, and should you be saying this, and are you throwing the quarterback off? And we saw it again. They're like, what if Jamar comes to the huddle and Joe Flacco's like, yeah, I'll throw it to him. He's like, oh, who cares? Yeah,
he'll be happy to.
Yeah, well, sure. I'm out here having fun. He's playing so loose and carefree. I've never seen it. I will also go Bengals.
Wow.
Wow. Look, I hope you guys are right. Obviously, I'm still holding out hope for my Ravens. This would be great for the Ravens if the Bengals win. But I'm with Coach. I mean, Tomlin, look, he's going to use that as motivation for his players. And they know what is coming schedule-wise. Sure. They know what the Ravens are about to get Lamar back. So I'm going to go with the Steelers in this one. But I hope you guys are right.
Thank you. And just for the record, as we debuted this new graphic,
you told him Steelers?
Well, you made some good points.
Your mind? Wild told him Steelers before and changed his mind. So you know what? Wild is picking a tie.
I don't want to pick Steelers.
Got a tie.
Can I just tell you what just happened? What just happened? Wilds didn't like the idea that the Bengals could win, and I would get to be like, I'm the only one who called it. So he said, no, I'm just going to jump on with it.
Different stuff.
The novelty. Yeah, I think it's great. Great for all the old guys. You know, I think I'm kind of going like this body wise. You know, I'm just getting healthier. I had a great break on the bye week. Spending time with my body work guru guy out west. First couple weeks, I was a little tighter, I felt like, and I'm starting to loosen up and feel a little bit more like myself.
Okay, welcome to First Things First OT. That's Aaron Rodgers on tonight's matchup against fellow 40-year-old Joe Flacco. Now, would they win? The Steelers, Danny, who you supposedly believe in, would move to 5-1.
Oh.
Now, this graphic is all you need to know. Okay?
I'll scrap all my research.
That's right. After starting 5-1 and better, the Steelers under Mike Tomlin either won the Super Bowl, went 12-4, lost the Super Bowl, went 12-4, or lost a wild card round at 12-4. So if they win tonight, this is the only path you can go down. They will be 5-1, which means they will go 12-4 and then have a 2/3 chance of at least going to the Super Bowl.
How does this, real quick, before Danny answers, how does it impact that they literally can't finish 12-4? This is a 17-game season. 12-4-1, but go ahead. Sorry.
How seriously should we take the Steelers with a win?
Yeah, I'm just going to take this and tear it up. You can put your graphic right back up on the screen. I think we should take them serious. And it's partly because of the Steelers, and it's partly because everything else in the AFC, and in particular their division, has crumbled around them. Like, I had the Steelers as a playoff team before the year. And all that's happened since is Joe Burrow has gotten hurt, the Ravens have fallen apart, and Aaron Rodgers has stayed healthy. Like, the first 2 weeks, it looked really bad. He took 7 sacks in those first 2 games, and I was like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is not going to survive the year. And now, time to throw, he is the fastest in the NFL. And it doesn't look pretty.
So do you think that's a good sign?
I think it's a good sign for him staying healthy.
Okay.
I don't think it allows you to have a top 10 offense in the NFL, but what I said before the year was they didn't need him to be a top 10 offense in the NFL. The whole point was if they could have a winning record with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, Aaron Rodgers can be better than that, and they spend more money on the defensive side of the ball than any team in the league. And I think we all agree week 1 is weird. Like, it can lead to weird results.
Wild certainly does.
Yeah, some things are very indicative of how the season will go, like the Raiders beating the Patriots. But other than that, week 1 can be weird.
But you said, you mentioned it earlier, that Jets game was just weird. Like, Rodgers threw for 4 touchdowns, but their defense gave up 32 points to the Jets. So if we remove week 1,
Wilds loves this.
The Pats game was weird too, though.
They've had a lot of weird ones, but I'm saying defensively. Defensively specific, because they spend more money on the defensive side of the ball than anyone.
The defense gotten it together.
If you remove week 1 against the Jets, they've got more takeaways than touchdowns allowed. And they're allowing less than 20 a game. Aaron Rodgers, with that defense, healthy, absolutely in this AFC has them as a contender.
So that's
no question.
Contender to win the AFC?
To win a playoff game, and then who knows? Absolutely. A home playoff game where they could end up playing the Chargers or the Broncos.
Everybody loves bad about the Chargers.
I do love the Chargers. My point is the AFC and the NFL is flawed.
I agree with that sentiment that there is no great team except for the team that makes Super Bowl every year that happens to be in their conference. But let's just assume for a moment, let's just say the Chiefs are removed. For whatever reason. The Mahomes retires. Yeah. The Chiefs are removed.
Wow.
I still would not consider the Steelers contenders. My buckets of contenders, no matter what happens tonight, would be Kansas City here, but take them out. If Kansas City's out, Buffalo is by themselves. In my opinion, atop the AFC as far as contenders. The next bucket that I would have the Colts, the Patriots, and the Chargers, and not the Steelers. Then I would almost carve out a little, maybe Baltimore. Just because if they were to get in, they would be scary because it would mean they have fixed some defense and they're red hot. And then I would have Pittsburgh alongside my beloved Jags and the Broncos as flawed teams with good defenses, that I would put them there. And here is my concern about Pittsburgh that I'm a little surprised you don't share, because I know in stuff like this, we very often see it somewhat similarly. The way their defense is making plays doesn't feel sustainable. They're giving up, and I don't know if we can show their ranks or not, Christina, but their yardage ranks, and this does include week 1, but they are a bottom 8 defense in yards allowed, I think yards per play, and they are making all their money on big plays, the havoc plays. There it is. Takeaways, sacks, stopping teams in the red zone. And it's similar to what they're doing on offense. On offense, they're not really moving the ball that well, but they're not turning it over. They're crushing in the plus minus. They're crushing in the sack differential. They're avoiding the negative plays. Even if I believe Rodgers can continue to be careful with the ball and they can protect him, do I actually think they are going to force this level of turnovers and create this level of sacks moving forward? I don't know that I do.
Well, I do normally agree with you, but their defense, in terms of the personnel, is awesome.
TJ Watt's awesome.
And if you take out the first couple, like Seattle put 31 on them. Lately, they've played a lot better defensively. I'll give you that. Look, it's too early for me to say they're a top-tier AFC contender. They can show me that at some point, and it'll be right after this game. Because then you got Green Bay, you got Indy, you got the Chargers. Then they still have Buffalo and then Detroit and the Ravens twice. So they will have their and I'm not saying they have to win all those games, but let's see how they play against somebody like that. Because they ran into a team you think is top 5 in the league in Seattle and lost by 2 touchdowns. So let's see what they can do. Cincinnati, they should win this game. I get it. It's a conference game. Division game. Flacco could do something special. He's got the weapons. I expect him to win tonight. But what will really tell me if they are on the level you say they are is what they do over these next few weeks.
Yeah, and listen, I had them just outside the top 10 on Top 10 Tuesday, but to me, what you just said is they're going to have the opportunity. And we all said it before the year when we looked at the schedule. If they stack their wins early,
right. That's true.
Stack their wins early, and then we're going to get the test.
Yeah.
We're going to get the test to see if it actually is there. But an 11-win season for Pittsburgh, winning the division,
that would be
hosting
a great
home
year.
Playoff game. That feels very on the board based on how this has gone so far.
I think that I agree with that. I also think people will get themselves in a little bit of trouble if you look at the Steelers' strength of schedule remaining, it actually ranks as one of the easier ones because they have Baltimore. 2 games against 1-5 Baltimore. That is not indicative because I know Baltimore's defense has been terrible all year except one game. But when Lamar Jackson's there, they're not a one-win team. No, they will be tested. I think they are one of the I think maybe the most flawed of the one-loss teams. And I think you could see it tonight. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Cincinnati wins tonight.
I like Pittsburgh, but
This guy's picked both sides of this game twice.
And a tie.
Saints in Chicago Sunday at 1 on Fox. Caleb looking to build on the Bears' winning streak. Take a listen.
I think that's always something. Being able to have growth and understand where I'm at, but also understand where I can be and where I will be. I've been saying that since I've been here that I got a lot in the tank for this team, and I'll do whatever I have to do to be able to help this team win.
All right, Danny, do you need to see a monster game from Caleb Williams?
Yeah, it's about that time.
Oh,
about that time. And I think he's been right there on the cusp. He's had really nice moments. He's finished strong in the Raiders game, finished strong against Washington, obviously the monster game against Dallas. But
we don't count that. We've decided.
We've decided
that monster games against the Cowboys, they don't really count. So sorry.
Fair enough. But I think that the running game looking good against Washington when it was not expected to, improving the running game out of the bye will help him. That was a key of Ben Johnson's offense going back to Detroit. And then it just sets up for the Saints defense is awful against the pass specifically. They've been a little frisky and Rattler is good, but defensively, everyone kind of eats on them.
Yeah.
And so I would expect this to be a game plan where Caleb Williams is going to throw the ball. And I do like this stat, and it does feed into my belief in Caleb Williams. He doesn't turn it over, and he really plays well at home. Best touchdown to interception ratio since the start of last year.
Wow.
I mean, that's good company. for Caleb Williams?
Honestly, I got to tell you.
Go ahead.
It's too good of company.
That's right. I wouldn't.
That is such good company. It's not cooking the books. It's
8-to-1 touchdown interception ratio.
It's a very straightforward. There's no extra qualifiers, but it's such good company. It feels like it's self-defeating.
Yes.
It's like a lot of the. I'm just telling you, it feels to me in the same vein as some of Wild's Nick Sirianni graphics.
It's my Drake May.
Yeah, or
Randall Cunningham.
Drake May. Yeah, Michael Vick.
It's like it's true, but
so while I didn't love that graphic,
that's fine.
I agree with Danny, and I also, not that this matters huge, but it's noteworthy to me. They're on a 3-game winning streak. He's been on a 3-game winning streak once prior in his NFL career, and it ended with Danny falling to his knees in my living room on the Hail Mary because you cried and it cost you thousands of dollars and you were dead. I mean, I don't have CCTV, but it sure seemed like it was an emotional moment.
Very upsetting.
And it started a downward spiral for him and for the organization, for you, a lot of things.
He lost 10 in a row, right?
That is correct.
It was 10? I didn't realize it was 10.
But he wasn't throwing picks.
And so
they won against Green Bay.
I looked, Brew, I think you agreed with me. Going into the Washington game, out of a bye, it was get a win and give your team real momentum.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter how Caleb plays as long as they win. This game, you kind of have to have your cake and eat it too. They need to win this game. They're at home against a 1-win Saints team. Spencer Rattler, does he count as quarterbacks from Caleb's draft class? I mean, he is a quarterback from his draft class. So you get back-to-back wins over quarterbacks from your draft class. And Caleb should look good to give you confidence going into their next 2 games against Baltimore and then Cincy, that Caleb can look good against those defenses, even if you don't beat Baltimore in, I know, the Ravens Super Bowl that you've been talking about.
Well, look, I think you guys are looking at Caleb as a future super-duper star. And I know you are for sure. So if I'm looking at it through that lens, then sure. To think he's going to be that, I need to see him light it up against New Orleans when he hasn't really lit anybody up since Dallas, which everybody seems to be doing. For me, though, I need a win and a good, solid, clean performance. Now, he's pretty clean generally in his game. But, I mean, like I thought what he did last week, they got weapons. And get the ball to those weapons and let them do a lot of the work, you know? And so if he's clean and 230 yards, nice, solid passer rating, maybe a couple 2 touchdowns, no picks. Like, that's not a monster game. But if he does that in the win, I'm good with it because I know he can have the monster games. He had several last year.
In losses.
Yeah, right. So I know he's capable of that and the spectacular. I just still want to see him making the right decisions, him getting the ball to the playmakers, and that stuff. So if I see that in the win, I'm actually good with it.
And to be very clear, if that exact scenario happens, I'm not going to come in here on Monday like disappointed.
Upset, right.
Because he will have played well in a win, and who knows how the game actually goes, and maybe he passes him down inside the 5, and then Swift takes him in, right? We'll see how it plays out. But to Nick's point, this stretch of games does just set up well for them to be carried by their quarterback. And I do think he's the type of quarterback that can carry a team.
And it also sets up for him to, if he's going to have a month similar to the one Drake May just had.
Sure.
It should be right now. You don't have to win every game, but it's 4 straight, good numbers, solid performances, win more than you lose. And I know right now it feels like Drake is in a totally different class than Caleb because Drake May is on the fringes of the MVP conversation and he's coming off this month.
Lit up the Saints.
But it lit up the Saints, and also after week 1 of the season, they were in the exact same boat, Caleb and Drake May. You know what I mean? Rookie seasons that had things you could poke at, things you could hang on to, really disappointing week 1 losses. And Drake then had 5 weeks of excellence, really. And Caleb now, I thought he was better than the numbers suggested against Washington, and now faces 3 straight bottom 5 pass defenses. This should be an opportunity.
Spencer Rattler upset alert.
Oh, come on now.
No OT tomorrow. So we're going to get a quick edition of Parkins Picks, an early edition.
Early edition, not regular time.
Yeah, we
Quick.
got plenty of time.
I am seeing the NFL very clearly. This is the official pick segment. I plug into the matrix. I see the league clearly. I'm not going to let 3-0 change me. I'm not scared of picking big games, taking the points with Detroit. Play in the wood with the Chicago Bears. Easy, easier, and easiest. I know that I'm right.
It's time now, of course, Parkins Picks.
Wow.
Danny, you want to go through? Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Why did you pick the Saints, dude?
Well,
if you just did the Saints defense, you just did a whole thing.
It was a mistake.
Okay.
It was a mistake. We bet numbers and not teams. I thought I was getting a good number, and I wasn't.
Okay.
And then the Chargers.
What happened to Chargers, Parker?
Well, they won but didn't cover.
Yeah.
It was just unfortunate.
It was 1 and 2.
But the Bears covered, and
There you
listen,
go.
it's a very pedestrian 9-9. Nick and I are now locked up in a tight one in mediocrity at 9-9.
Leave me out of it.
No, I'm not
Are
going
you
to.
9-9 too?
It's
no way to tell. We'll find out what my record is tomorrow.
He's very much
guess
also
that's a yes.
9-9. But whenever you're struggling, there's only really one thing to do. Take advantage of an opportunity that hasn't presented itself in years. The Carolina Panthers are favored for the first time since week 15 of 2022.
Oh, I like
Wow.
Carolina -1.5 against the Jets. They opened as a dog. They're now a slight favorite. They're going to win this game by double digits. Here's the thing. The Jets are awful. Carolina, sneaky good? I don't know. Yeah, 30-0 against Atlanta. But what they've been actually legitimately excellent at is running the football. Last 4 games, most rushing yards in the NFL, most big play runs in the NFL, out-rushing their opponents. The Jets, a bottom 10 rush defense. I don't know if the Jets have packed up shop yet, but I know Carolina is frisky and playing well so far. So again, they haven't been a road favorite, by the way, since week 12 of 2021.
Love it.
So yeah, love taking a team that hasn't been a road favorite in 4 years.
Love it.
Oh, I don't know where that money's
Bryce is
coming
gonna
from.
be 4-3.
Right?
I think upset alert.
Wow.
Upset alert.
Really?
That's an upset
For
alert.
the Jets. Okay, well, we can be on opposite
Here we
sides
go.
of that
Parkins
one.
Picks.
Watch out
All
for
right,
it.
next one. Have to wait for Monday for this one. Don't get fooled by what's happened with the Texans the last couple of weeks. I'm laying the 3 with Seattle against Houston. You know that I had Seattle as a top 5 team on Top 10 Tuesday, but also Houston has gotten right against Tennessee and Baltimore. No disrespect, Brew, but this is the time to get right against Baltimore. Against everyone else, Houston has just been awful, and I actually think that Seattle is much more like the Rams, the Bucs, and the Jaguars, that right-hand column, than the left-hand column. Only laying 3 at home for Seattle. I think they've got the better offense and the better defense. I think they cover that number.
Better defense. Wow.
Yeah.
Texans.
Wow. I do. And then, last one, I felt bad, Wilds, so this one was for you.
Oh, with 3 favorites?
3 favorites.
Grow up.
Revenge game. Revenge game for Mike Vrabel. Patriots -7 at the Titans. And the rationale, I watched the show. I'm a fan. Since week 1, the Patriots. We go back to week 2.
Great take.
I mean, let's just look at it. The Patriots, 6th in scoring, 9th in yards, 5th on 3rd down, 2nd in passer rating. The Titans, I could have done it since week 1 for them. But, to keep it fair, since week 2, they're objectively terrible. So the Patriots offense against the Titans defense, Drake May continues his hot stretch. And there's just no way the Patriots are going to have a letdown spot for their coach against Tennessee. Yeah, last year was a big year for favorites, Nick. It rode me to 65%. I bought this chain off of favorites. So 3 favorites across the board. Feels like a 3-0 week, boys.
I like these a lot besides the Seahawks.
I hate these so much.
Why? Whoa!
And in fact, little sneak preview to Nick's picks tomorrow, fresh off a sparkling weekend. I have the exact opposite on 2 of these. And I don't know that those will be.
He doesn't like Bryce.
So, here's
Bryce,
the other thing I
that's
know.
an obvious one.
Here is what I know. The Panthers were +1.5.
That's right.
Early in the week. They are now -1.5.
I bet it.
Getting the 3 points of the wrong number, I don't know how, but I know Panthers-Jets is going to be a 1-point win for somebody, and you're going to lose because you were on the wrong side of it. And I also know that I don't care at all about any Titans stats that were BCE, Brian Callahan era. Throw those in the garbage.
This is a dead cat bounce situation?
Of course it is.
They're the worst team in football.
Well,
I'm betting against the Jets and the Titans.
Right.
That feels safe.
Yeah, it feels like the squarest thing imaginable. Oh, how could we lose? We're betting against the 2 worst teams in football.
Don't get bullied.
I'm not going to.
Picks.
He's not Brian Branch. He's not going to say he got bullied. But I'm telling you, I don't like those at all, buddy.
Fresh edition of Frenemies. This looks like it
with a special guest.
With a special guest.
That looks to me like 1 and 2.
Frenemies
I know.
There.
Yeah. What are the expectations for Shohei the rest of the series? That's next when First Things First overtime continues.
All right, welcome back to First Things First. It's Frenemies, some of our favorite times of the week. And it's our first guest in Frenemies history. Me, Nick, and the Pass Watch. Off the ALCS, which is now a 2-1 series game. Vlad Guerrero Jr. with an absolute monster performance, 13-4 win for Toronto. Vin, thanks for hanging out with us. What was your takeaway from that result with the Blue Jays' dominance?
Well, my biggest takeaway is that their manager, John Schneider, asked for more uppercuts and less body blows before the game with the way that he did the lineup yesterday, and he got it.
What does that mean effectively?
So if you are watching the games, a lot of times you'll hear from, like it's Smoltz calling the games.
Yeah.
He talks about the lack of strikeouts the Blue Jays have. And he says it in a good way, as it is. Like striking out less, you put the ball in play more. But there's a lot of argument of maybe we should be okay with some more strikeouts and take some more shots.
Bigger swings would lead to more home runs.
You get to an advantage count, be okay with swinging and missing or fouling the ball off because you're trying to do damage. So they did that last night. 15 hits, 5 homers. It's hard to do. Also hard to replicate on the next night.
So this sounds like cliche analysis by me, I will admit.
Okay. Can't wait.
But I often feel like in whether it be baseball or certainly NBA series, where team down 2-0 wins game 3, that then all of a sudden the winner of the series is going to be whoever wins game 4. Where obviously if a team goes up 3-1, they're at a huge edge. That's why it's kind of square analysis. But the other side of it is being up 2-0 to all of a sudden it's a brand new series feels like it is so demoralizing. Do you agree with me that whomever wins tonight is infirm, like that even if the Blue Jays win and even if it's tied, that they can still be in firm control of the series?
I do. It's just like if the Mariners win tonight,
I think series is over.
I feel like this series would be over. I look at it kind of like an at-bat. If you get to a 3-1 count versus a 2-2 count, it changes everything. If the Blue Jays win tonight, they guarantee that they go back home. Yep. That's huge. But if they lose tonight, then they go into tomorrow, they'll go back home to pack if they lose. But wondering, like, all right, this now becomes a grind to make this happen. So I think this is the swing game of the series.
So is that like a momentum thing? Or just confidence?
Yeah, I would say more confidence. I don't necessarily believe in momentum carrying on day after day. I don't necessarily buy into it. It's something I argue with our media at home all the time. Annie Rodgers, if she's watching, we talk about it all the time. But it's a confidence factor of, all right, the Mariners now know they can beat the Blue Jays 2 in a row. The Blue Jays don't know that yet, that they can beat the Mariners 2 in a row. So that'd be a big one for them.
So to go back to the idea of like jabs versus power swings, how does that, like, your sensibilities as a hitter? Like the idea of it's okay for me to strike out more, but I'm gonna maybe hit more.
Was that your stance?
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
Obviously, your stance. You choke up.
Can I tell you a true story?
I don't know if it'll be good for you, but go ahead.
Let me tell you a true story. We're hanging out in the green room.
Okay, good. I thought this was going to be from your baseball career.
I know what you're going to say.
I have one of those too for you if we have time. But no. So me and Vin are watching the first hour of the show, and we're talking about the NFL topics that you and Wilds and Brewer are doing. And he looks at me and he goes, "Did you play football?"
Oh, that's great. That was nice of you.
I think it's the nicest thing I've ever done.
that was nice of you.
It was really kind.
But all right, I interrupted. Sorry, you were asking
just curious,
something important.
As a hitter, like, does it offend your baseball sensibilities to be like strikeouts are okay in the pursuit of power?
A little bit. It's a tough line, but I'm also the type of hitter that if I swing and miss, it freaks me out a little bit because I feel like it's what I do the best. So for me, if I swing and miss, it's like, why did that just happen? So then I don't know if it necessarily helps me create more power by doing that. But it's one of those things that if you just look at the raw data, home runs are automatic runs.
Home runs are good.
On that note, real quick, because I know we're supposed to move on, but it feels silly if we don't ask him in either of these times we've had you out here about Cal. We talked about this a bit yesterday. They are despite losing yesterday, in control here. Nobody who saw this season coming from the Mariners, certainly nobody saw this season coming from Cal Raleigh. He's potentially staring at a World Series against maybe a super team with a guy that's being called one of the greatest players in the history of the sport in Shohei Ohtani. Can you put into perspective what Cal Raleigh has done this year and how almost incomprehensible it is at his position, no less?
I don't think you can put it into perspective. It's just ridiculous. Now, I've had the pleasure, really, of I've came up playing against Cal, so like on the backfields at spring training and instructional fall league, I've seen this dude do some things like hitting homers from both sides of the plate in the same game. So like 60 homers may have been a surprise, but him popping off the way he hasn't been a surprise. Is just a pure hitter. But doing it from the catching position, catching every day, is insanity. So the fact that his legs are still working right now is incredible. I hope when the season's over for him that he goes to Cancun or something. Yeah. Hopefully it's after a World Series for him and not a little early, but I hope he rests for a long time because I'm sure those legs are very, very tired.
All right, so let's talk NLCS here. The Dodgers have the 2-0 series lead over the Brewers, and Game 3 is tonight. Shohei slated to pitch in Game 4. He's been slumping at the plate, though, which is also, is it because of the pitching? Is it because of the matchups? Is it just he's human and the guy's slump? Do you expect Shohei to get out of the slump?
100%. Without a doubt in my mind. I don't think it'll necessarily come tonight or tomorrow. We talked about it a little bit earlier. I think it's going to be the World Series where he takes over.
Why?
Well, depending on how the series goes, he'll have a little bit of time off. I saw yesterday he hit on the field for the first time all season, so they made a big deal about it, which I think is funny. But I think that goes back into what we were talking about yesterday. I think guys are joking with him more than anything. I just think matchup-wise, he matches up with Toronto and Seattle so much better than the Brewers and Philly. So I think the World Series will be fun for him at the plate.
That's because of all the lefties.
Yeah, because of all the lefties. He's facing another one to start the game tonight in Aaron Ashby. He'll probably face Koenig and Gasser later on in the game. So he's just it's one of those things. It's confidence, right? His confidence might be a little shook right now, but he'll have time to get it back.
But you had a pretty big prediction, like if Shohei makes the World Series.
I think he'll win the MVP of the World Series.
Win World Series. And here's something we haven't seen the Dodgers with Shohei fully functional in the playoffs. Like the last year, Shohei also, he was hurt and, was scuttling a bit in the postseason. It didn't matter because for the World Series, Freddie Freeman was like, I'll just be a better version of Shohei Ohtani and was the hottest hitter alive. If Shohei gets going, I know this sounds silly, but with that lineup as deep as it is and with their top 4 pitchers throwing the way they are, if he gets going, it feels like no one can beat them. It feels like this Dodger team, with everyone playing up to their abilities and the starting pitchers doing what they've done, that they are, in a very brief sample, obviously, one of the greatest teams we have seen in the modern era of baseball. I know that sounds crazy because they had fewer wins this year than the Dodgers, but than the Brewers. Yeah. Does that track to you? Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, they're paying for it.
Yeah.
So I think as a player, you look and you're like, well, that's what you're paying these guys for, is to perform in this moment. So, yeah, if he gets going, they get even scarier, and they're up 2-0 in the NLCS. Just because then it sets the table for Mookie, for Freddie, for Teoscar, for Kike, for all these guys. I mean, you set the table. If Will Smith can get 100% health, it's just a scary team. And the knock on them all year was the pitching, and they're all healthy right now. So if they stay healthy, they got to win this series first, right? I mean, anything can happen. and the Brewers had the best record in baseball for a reason. Then if they were to move on to the World Series, you face Seattle, you face Toronto, you feel pretty good about it.
Big favorite against either one.
So, Vinny, this is the type of thing that we would debate in like a college dorm room. Like,
yes.
Who's the best? All this. But you actually have played against all of these guys.
Yeah.
You have the scouting reports on everyone. So we have tasked you with building the perfect baseball player.
Yep.
You can take the attributes of anybody and give us the superlatives, the best guy.
I'm going to look at my sheet, though, to make sure that I say the correct ones that I told you.
That you felt 15 minutes ago? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I think the first one is Aaron Judge's power. That would just be
that
incredible.
checks out. Yeah, he's
the
good.
next one.
He did have one whole RBI more than you this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
one day I hope to have more than him.
Yeah.
I'd like to have Bobby Witt Jr. speed. Bob, I think you're watching based off of my phone.
Oh,
I just
shout
checked
out
it.
Bobby Baseball.
So if you're watching, he just got his wisdom teeth out.
Wow. So maybe a little high watching?
Yeah,
nice.
Could be. Bob, I'd love to have your speed. It's fun to watch you do what you do. A lot of those RBIs because of him.
Yeah.
I'd like to have Juan Soto's eye, his ability to not swing at balls. I would love to chase less.
Stop you real quick. That's a huge. Danny's a secret baseball nerd.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say.
That's right.
A Chicago guy loves the Cubs. And last year, we went to some ALCS and World Series games together, and he just can't stop talking about Juan Soto's discipline at the plate.
Yeah.
The on-base percentage with the power and the walk rate for a lefty, it's unbelievable. It's completely insane.
And the way that he goes about it, pitchers hate him because he'll look at you. You walk him, he'll just stare you down as he's walking to. He gives a little extra motivation to pitchers, and it's just incredible. Next one, Luis Arraez's contact ability. The guy doesn't swing and miss, ever.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Puts the ball in play on everything.
Everything. So it's great. All right. PCA's glove, I think I skipped one.
Yeah.
But as far as a pitcher goes, pure stuff-wise, nobody's going to know who I'm talking about. But his name is Luis Morales. He plays for the Sacramento Athletics. And
well, what was funny about this is I was like, not Skeens, and you're like, about when you faced this kid.
We faced him the last weekend of the season. He's throwing 100 with incredible vertical movement, which just means the ball drops less. Yeah. He's got a 92-mile-an-hour changeup. It's pretty good, but he's moving his sweeper, so big slider, basically 23 inches, which is insane.
It's 2 feet of movement.
And the plate is only 17
Thank you, I got
we
you.
did 20, Danny's here to explain to the audience 23 inches, nearly 2 feet.
Insane.
And then the glove, who'd you say?
The glove,
Pete Crow. Oh, there you go. I had to get a cub in
That's
there.
right. That's my guy.
All right, before you go, and you'll obviously be here tomorrow as well, before the segment's over, here's the deal. This is Frenemies. It's named because Danny and I have been friends for half our lives. And Danny, once upon a time, I'm born and raised in Kansas City, he's from Chicago. He moved to Kansas City and did radio there about 4 years after he graduated college.
Yeah,
like that,
2011. Yeah.
And had an opportunity in that moment to be like, you know what? I'm going to be a Chiefs fan.
That's right.
And he didn't. And instead, he watched his team, the Bears, draft Mitch Trubisky, while my team, the Chiefs, drafted Patrick Mahomes. You are a Jets fan, not even because you're from New York, just because you're named Vinny and they once had a Vinny Testaverde. You are now Kansas City royalty. Mm-hmm. The Chiefs are in town. Can I convince you to become a Chiefs fan? And if so, I would love to let you drop a Chiefs banner for it. I'm not asking you to abandon the Jets, but I'm asking you to, I don't know, a side team, if you will, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, I guess it's a little bit easier because a boss of mine is their quarterback, I suppose.
yeah, that's right.
So now that they're playing a little bit better,
yeah,
I think that's fair. I think
Yeah.
I'll do that. I support them in the playoffs. I go to their playoff games. I go to games. Going to a game on December 7th against the Texans. Sunday Night Football.
Sounds great.
I'll be there. So,
Drop the banner, Vinny. Let's see it. Wow.
There it is, right there.
Wow. That is great. That is just a great moment. Sorry, Jets.
So
You did go to London to watch the Jets and watch one of the
did.
worst offensive performances in NFL history. That was great.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah,
Vinny.
Welcome to Frenemies, Vin. Coming up next, we'll bring out Willie Colon and Coach Mangini. Are the Chiefs back? Rashee Rice is. We discuss.
That's sick.
All right, welcome back. We go to Kansas City. Coach Mangini and Willie Colon out here with me. The Chiefs have the Raiders. They're a huge favorite. It is the first time that Mahomes takes the field with all of his offensive weapons. He was asked about Rashee Rice's return from suspension and how that affects the wide receiver room. Take a listen to the Chiefs QB.
They want their guy there. They want one of their teammates there that worked his tail off to be in that position. And so I think just having them in that room, you can just tell those guys are energized and they're ready to go, and they want to showcase who they are as a complete room. And they've done a great job so far this year, and I think it's going to get even better with Rashee now.
So I know that this upsets, I think, both of you, but I would argue that the Chiefs now are the best team, the team that you can trust most, the most complete team. And I think I am consistent on this. I give the Lions the benefit of the doubt. I give the Eagles the benefit. Like, if you've been great for a while, I'm willing to overlook a little turbulence in flight. And now that the Chiefs' offense is rolling again, Coach, I would say they are the most complete team.
Yeah, it's so interesting because you and Nick have very similar takes where as soon as the Chiefs do something positive, then suddenly they're back.
Glory, hallelujah.
And when you look back just a week ago, they lost to Jacksonville. They had 13 penalties. They didn't look like the most complete team or the best team in that situation. And as you look at their wins, they beat Giants, they beat Baltimore, and that was a big game at the time, but Baltimore's not looking like it was such a big game after all. And then Detroit, and we'll see where Detroit plays out here as we move forward.
30-17 over Detroit is a good win, Coach.
But they've got some of their own challenges, and let me just show you some of their statistics here, because a complete team, you'd think they'd be at the top of these different areas. And I went a little bit deeper, so whether it was rush yards per game, I looked at penalties, they're middle of the pack there, red zone percentage, opponent red zone percentage, middle of the pack there, third down, third. So I didn't want to just treetop it. I wanted to drill down a little bit to see how complete they were. And they're completely in the middle of the pack.
And they are 500.
Yeah, it's a hard no for me. And Danny won't admit it. You're right, Coach. Anything the Chiefs do, he gets all crazy about. But nevertheless, man, they're ranked third in the division. And when you're a complete team, you're not ranked third in your own division. On top of that, I understand from Danny's standpoint, they've been able to average 28 points or more for the last 3 weeks. And I do think with the addition of Rashee Rice, they are a more whole offense. Rashee Rice gives Andy Reid a bigger playbook, more answers versus pressure. But it's the defense for me. Like you talked about that Chiefs and Lions game, most of that game was a shootout up until the fourth quarter, right? And then when you talk about what the defense hasn't been able to do, energy, execution, not playing like the defense that we've known them to be in the past. So, no, they're not a complete team.
Detroit scored 17 points.
Yeah, but nevertheless, you talk about most of the game, it wasn't like they blew them out from the door. We watched this line. Like, go back to that third quarter with Jared Goff, ripped them down the field. So, no, they're not a complete team. Are they on the rise? Yes, but they're not there yet.
Okay.
And you said the most complete.
The most complete.
It is
so giddy about the
It
Chiefs.
is partly because of the Chiefs and partly because of how weird the league has been this year. It is a flawed year. There are no dominant teams to this point. So tie goes to the runner. Tie goes to the Chiefs. That's just how it works. To Miami. I cannot wait to hear.
Your smugness is like the most
Well, you're not the first person to tell me that. After the Dolphins, my wife's like, you have a tone issue. The Dolphins 29-27 lost to the Chargers. Tua said at his post-game presser, some of his teammates were late to a players-only meeting, except Tua is a leader on the team. He then took the podium yesterday and apologized for his comments. Here's the Dolphins QB.
I got to look at myself as the leader, protecting the team. I don't feel like I did that to the best of my abilities. I felt like I let the emotions of the game get to me after the game. And, that's something that I can learn from as a leader on this team. And what happens in-house should be protected. And none of that should have gotten out. And so want to publicly apologize about that.
I mean, listen, I have not been in locker rooms like you guys have been in locker rooms, but as my understanding of it is, like, that's a lose the locker room type of moment. And Tua is too old and too smart and too paid to be doing something like that. I thought those comments were wild and out of pocket, and he totally did not realize how bad it made him look in the moment, which would make me question everything about him more than I already did. So that's how I felt about it. But Willie, you've protected people like Tua your whole career. How did that sit with you, the whole ordeal?
I hate that he apologized.
Oh, wow.
I really do hate that he apologized. I thought it made him look weak as a leader. As a man, I'm with you, right, wrong, and indifferent, but I know where you stand. when you look at other quarterbacks, we've seen Aaron Rodgers do this before, but people respect it, right? We've seen him call out Mike Williams last year, but it was what it was because he's Aaron Rodgers. I think right now, what really annoys me about the situation is Tua wasn't lying. He was coming off a loss. He's in the locker room. He's watching how this team has behaved. And we've heard rumblings coming from this locker room before as far as guys not being on time.
Vibes have been terrible.
Right. And so he was just speaking the truth. He's only forced to apologize to keep the stability in the locker room. And I understand he had to step up from a leader standpoint. It's like, man, I should have kept that in-house. But nevertheless, man, this team has been toxic for too long. And if you're a leader, I prefer you to rip the Band-Aid off and let the rest of the world, along with your teammates, know this is not enough. We can't continue to play like this. I hate player-only meetings because it's a breeding ground for weak men. Because proper men, athletes who care about their job, they leave their egos at the door and their resume, and they focus on what they need to do to get better to right the ship. Bottom line. So I hate that he apologized. I hate that the fact that he had to retract everything he said, because now when he does have a strong statement, is it you speaking, or are you gonna have to pull that back? You know what I'm saying? So I didn't like it. I want to speak with your heart. That's what I'm always gonna respond to.
And when you look at this, it's a little bit like the story that runs on the front page of the newspaper, and then someone prints a retraction, which is on page 8. You can't put this back in the bottle. It's out there now, and this is something that he had to do because of the reaction that he got. But unfortunately for the coaching staff, ownership has heard this. The rest of the world has heard this. It's, to your point, it's indicative of a team that's not very healthy right now, and 50 players only meetings aren't going to solve that problem. And it's a bad situation that has just been made worse by putting it out into the universe, where now everybody's going to talk about it instead of trying to focus on what is most important there, which is for them to hopefully win a game here soon.
Yeah.
Is it salvageable? Like, can he win back that locker room?
Yes, but it goes with he has to be able to pay attention to how they respond to practice, how they respond on the field, and listen. Being on time for work isn't an athletic thing. That's just waking up and doing your job.
Yeah, that's a caring thing.
Yeah, it's like Coach, you've coached for a long time. 2 things ball players can control is your attitude and effort. Bottom line, that comes with your job. The fact that that's in question, that's a problem. So this is a bigger issue. This is an organizational issue, but I hate that they're in this position right now, especially him.
We're going to try to figure out what it would look like if the Eagles actually got back on track coming up. No players-only meetings here. All right, welcome back. We go to Philadelphia, where the Eagles are taking on the Vikings Sunday, hoping to end a 2-game losing streak that feels like 20 based on all of the scandals. Saquon Barkley went on NBC Philly's podcast and talked about the team going forward, and he was basically like, it's going to be fine, and he expressed confidence that they could get it going. So, gentlemen, what does it look like? Like, if we come in here on Monday and we're like, Philly got it back on track, what does that look like?
Well, I think the low-hanging fruit is just simply say get the run game up and going. I think it starts really with Jalen Hurts. I think, one, he can't throw the ball no more than 30 times a game. You won, DP. I give it to you.
Oh, wow.
Wait, you're taking credit for the 30 times a game stat?
Wow. This should have been the A block. My God.
On top of that, I think they have to move his launch point. As far as him sitting in the well trying to deliver the football time after time, that's not a strong suit. They got to move his launch point. On top of that, they need more design runs with him. When you watch the Eagles last year, it wasn't just Saquon with explosive runs. He had a lot of them too. So if I see those combinations things and them playing ball control offense, yeah, I would say the
back
Eagles
on track looks like they got to get a win. If they can get a win, run the ball, great. But even if they get back on track, dudes are going to be unhappy if they're running the ball.
That's the amazing thing. They're unhappy even when they win. They're only a 1.5-point favorite, by the way, in Minnesota. Imagine how ugly it is if they lose to Carson Wentz.